And the comment about Ruler tearing out all of Aiming's hair. Thoughts? Musings?
No thoughts.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, it was okay. You know.
Strange.
Well.
Anyway, there it is. That's the blue hair. Thankfully, it's still there. So since the filming of that Trash Talk video, Ruler hasn't got his hands on Aiming. But we are starting with our Afrika and Hanwha roster of the KT variety. SoHwan and bonO will be taking to the stage over Malrang and Ray. And over on Gen.G's side, this is the squad that we've come to expect. Life not playing as many games as Kellin did in the Kesper Cup as well, and it looks like Kellin has retained his mainstay position. Well, I find it interesting because Life was playing very well.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how this bot lane duo ends up faring and what type of synergy they're going to actually have with one another. Although, the way the bot lane meta is right now, you don't really get a lot of action. It's usually tank supports and Senna, MF, or Aphelios sort of hugging each other.
Yep.
And then eventually we get to the mid-game. So, Atlas, question I have for you is, are you ready for a 3-hour series?
Oh, heck yeah I am.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I know.
Get me in there for as long as possible. That's what I want. That is what I want. As here we are into Champions League for Game 1. KT taking as much time as possible to ban away their first champion. And I think that we'll see the bans drastically change from our first series. Felt like a lot of targeted bans coming in there, and already some new ones, some new faces. Aurelia taken away from B.D.D mostly, but certainly a flex between him and Rascal. And there is the Gragas ban. I'd actually, you know, if there's a Gragas ban against Gen.G, assume that it's Life. Not going to be the case this time around. That one is against Clid.
The Olaf ban, mostly targeted, obviously, at the champion pool, specifically of the enemy jungler, not of any sort of meta team compositions in particular, as Set is actually going to bite the dust here.
Yeah, not going to be seeing the light of day. Kali taken away on the blue side, and Elise is going to be the final ban. KT can take something like the Aphelios if they would like to here, or maybe something that doesn't show their hand as much. Lee Sin is standing out, I guess, although I know it's a bit of a sinner pick, but this is Clid that we're talking about. bonO might want to take that one away. Of course, bonO, a notable Lee Sin player alongside his very famous Olaf. But it's going to be the Ornn locked in. Yeah, already we're seeing multiple facets in the KT possible gameplay direction.
Well, we're having a B1 Ornn. Gen.G should probably respond to R1, R2, 80 carry plus jungle.
What is the jungle of choice, though, here for Gen.G?
80 carry top laner is also fine.
Or solo lane flex in the Mordekaiser.
Coming in specifically as an attempted answer to the Ornn, but Ornn eventually takes over in mid-game, and Ornn is also favored in laning phase if the Ornn plays it better than the Mordekaiser.
Mordekaiser could, of course, be mid lane, as could the Ornn. Both Kuro and B.D.D do like to flex with each respective champion. So Aphelios is going to be locked in. Once again, I'm going to get very confused about all the different guns. Keep those DMs coming in, by the way, guys, trying to explain to me the fact that I've messed up with one of the guns or other, because I do need all the help that I can get. I think it's largely to do with not being able to notice the icons quickly enough.
It's actually
I'll put that to work.
Really interesting that Korea just doesn't seem to care about Senna.
Yeah, and also this is Gen.G, the Senna playing team, but opting in for Misfortune instead.
And so Lee Sin now going to be locked in last here, as KT is definitely starting out very strong so far here in the draft. Aiming is actually crying at how beautiful the initial start is. He just can't control himself when he sees a B1 Ornn. Don't worry. Me either. Yeah. I know what it's like.
With blue hair comes a more emotional response to things, I think.
I think he's actually crying. Wait, what's wrong?
No, I don't think so.
No, it looks like his eyes are welling up again.
Yeah, I think it might have to do with the makeup. Because you know how, we're not super used to makeup in the gaming world and stuff like that. So maybe that's what it is. Okay. Happens to me sometimes. Not very good at when stuff goes close to my eyes. So sometimes it happens to me too. even now after a few years practice. But, you know, aiming has been there a long time as well. But sometimes it's just you have a different experience. Blitz is going to be the ban here over on Gen.G's side to follow up from the Nautilus. Thresh should be taken away now to get rid of all possible hooks, but it's probably not going to be the case, but it does certainly look like the support pool is being pinched. Leona sort of stands out to me as 2 seconds to go. KT will have to make up their mind. And it is LeBlanc to be hitting the bench. More of a BDD ban rather than a ban of a specific strategy or something like that. And that is the Thresh that I was talking about, locked in for Gen.G.
So now they're going to reserve flexing the Mordekaiser to either mid or top, and they'll get their counter pick of choice.
Yeah, Leona is looking to be the answer here.
Yeah, this is the handshakes that we talk about. Mage supports are forbidden.
Yeah, it's not what you want.
They are, people...
Oh, God. Okay. There it is. There's the first Timothy Kenshin's pickup. The LCK didn't take very long, but we weren't expecting it to either. Stay.
Thinking about it, Atlas. I'm thinking...
I know.
You know, I'm thinking about greener pastures.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Which region are we heading to?
What?
Who hasn't been picking Tom Kench? Let me just check in for you. He's the most picked in NA, so I don't think you're going there. And he is last most picked in LEC, so welcome to Europe, LS.
Thank you.
As the Aatrox.
You know what? I'm actually.
Oh God.
This is.
Come on, KT, please.
It's really sealing in the flavor. You know what? I'm gonna give you Ender Weird Champ casts. We're just gonna make a swapperoo.
Oh God.
Okay.
No.
I'm actually DMing him right now.
I wasn't talking about oh no Ender. I quite like Ender.
Nah,
but I'm
we're
just
gonna
still
clip it out of
talking about the
context.
KT draft.
Don't worry about it.
We're
clipping it out of context.
BDD just casually picks last pick Syndra, as you do. And the damage profile on KT's side is 80, and then AD and a bit of AD. I think Aiming's going to be clicking the level up my armor penetration button as often as he possibly can, as you can do on the Aphelios, but I just don't know whether that is going to be enough. I mean, I guess we're looking at a Gen.G squad that's not going to be building a lot of resistances anyway. You don't exactly want to be building Thornmail Mordekaiser, but you could, in theory.
Well, the interesting thing about these two team compositions is there is a lot of scaling in the Ornn team comp, but also it has a dynamic where if it gets ahead, it's able to suffocate and just perma face roll the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay if it falls behind. It's really good if it gets ahead. But on the flip side, if the enemy team does end up getting ahead, it's going to matter a lot where the gold really is. And then I think that they're going to suffer from similar things like what T1 faced earlier on, where even if they get ahead, it's not likely going to be the cleanest end unless KT are really misplaying.
Yeah, I feel like Gen.G have one of the quintessential LCK compositions that we were talking about a lot actually on the Pop State podcast, which is we can win from almost any situation in the game.
Yeah.
Here we are onto Summoner's Rift. Let's see whether Gen.G can do that and make up for their name as KT look to try and change around their prospects that they had for themselves during the Kesper Cup. It was disappointing after, you know, winning a couple in the beginning. Still not exactly having the optimal outcome, especially not with a completely brand new roster. Harai and Acorn both coming over as well from Dragon X of 2019. Coaching staff has changed, and every KT player has changed. We said goodbye to Score. He had his retirement party. Is now aiming. He's gonna get. Yeah, he would have got hooked, but the flash does come in. The ward is also cleared away, so Gen.G already with a bottom lane advantage, and we thought that even if there was no flash burnt in the bottom lane, they would already have a bottom lane advantage. And we've got a slight sepia mode settling in, and I have to take full responsibility because I made a joke about a pause. and now there is one. So, yeah, that's my apologies. Not entirely sure what this is for, and hopefully we'll get a bit of a check-in from production as to what has caused the issue.
It always actually perplexes me when stuff like this happens, right? It was less than 30 minutes ago. Or no, I'm sorry. It was about, what, 45 minutes ago? The T1 players had just up and left those PCs. Everything was fine, and then the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah, well, these things just sometimes happen. There was the 30-minute window, and obviously the Fire Nation got in there. And what they did was they turned down TusiN's game sounds. So he can't hear the game well enough.
Okay.
So, yep. Hopefully we can get in there and buff up those game sounds as much as we can.
Now, also, by the way, while we have a chance to talk about the really important things, aka the Pog State right now.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a bit of a question. I don't think I've asked you this.
Okay, you can ask me the whole question if you want.
Okay. Let's say that there's an Echo and a Mordekaiser.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Echo's running along, doing his thing.
Yeah.
And then Mordekaiser ults him.
Can he use his ult to get out of it?
Well,
Is that what you're asking?
He can.
But what does he do?
So, here's the problem.
Okay.
If he gets death realmed, and then he Rs and goes back in time, but arrives in the death realm, was he dead the whole time? Is Echo just dreaming? Is he comatose?
I didn't know this was going to be a philosophical question. I thought this was going to be a mechanical question.
Well, I'm leaving you in chat now to ponder.
Or does that mean that actually the Death Realm was casted 3 seconds in advance?
And so is Mordekaiser a time traveler?
Does the Death Realm transcend time?
Does death transcend time? Is that an alternate dimension?
Is time even real?
Echo think? Oh man, does Zillion even actually exist?
Because every time you go to talk about the present, LS, you're talking about the past.
So I mean, these are really concerning questions.
It really is. I'm having an existential crisis over here.
If you want to talk about 7 layers of hell or something, what happens if when Mordekaiser ults a Sylas, who then ults the Mordekaiser?
What happens?
Where are you going there?
What if Karthus dies whilst in the Death Realm? Is he double dead when he's in his passive?
Ooh, where do you?
And then when he finally, but is he triple dead when he then gets out of his passive?
No, I think he's in a solo queue game.
And also, does Karthus even have a soul to begin with? And is it because he spent too much time in the Death Realm to Death Realm to Death Realm transition, and that's why he's come to be the man that he is today? Look, you can't ask me questions like this when we're in the middle of a broadcast, but thank goodness we're in the middle of a pause, because this could take a long time to figure out, and I hope you guys are ready for the ride. Because I feel like there's even more layers to this that we could get into.
There's absolutely more layers.
I didn't know the Death Realm was... And how does a headband get you out of the Death Realm?
How does it pull you out?
Should theoretically QSS remove you from the Death Chamber as well?
Does QSS have types of mechanisms that we don't understand in our observable universe?
Hey, that's a good point. And I guess in theory, the Death Realm isn't actually where you're dead. You're just brought there sort of, without actually... Because you can die in the Death Realm, right? And then you stay there, theoretically. So maybe it's instead like Mordekaiser, like a Constantine type vibe. So you're not, if you're in the Death Realm, you're not actually dead, but you're like hanging out in hell, like, oh no, this is.
So is Mordekaiser even real?
Well, isn't he just a suit of armor anyway?
Ooh.
I mean, I guess not with the pentakill skin, but
so
sometimes that goes off.
A giant piece of metal that gets really mad at
you.
And
the original, like Mordekaiser's lore has changed like what 15 times or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think his original lore was that he was like a walking suit of armor.
All right.
That was like sort of magically being held together or something like that. Which, weirdly enough, actually correlates better to his current ultimate than it did his past ultimate, which is where you basically, like, you got to kill them and then get yourself a clone and all that sort of stuff. So,
and then you used to command them. That was called Children of the Grave or something.
Well, you used to try to command them, and most of the time it didn't work.
Most of the time it would bug
out.
It
was super bugged, yeah.
And what if it wasn't that he couldn't command them? What if it's like he's Freddy Krueger? And they just don't listen.
And maybe it was just
maybe
he
they're
couldn't
not even
command
dead.
them. Maybe the characters themselves.
Maybe they're a dream.
Oh, no.
Maybe there was actually a translation error
Yeah.
in the origin language of Death Realm translated poorly. Maybe it's Dream Realm. And then...
Maybe the LCK isn't even real.
Oh my god. And is Mordekaiser sleeping with Alex Straza?
And also, if we go back... Wow, we've transcended games now as well. This is too much. This is too much. I want to just go back...
And Ysera.
I think it's Ysera's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Alex Straza isn't the Dream Realm. Ysera is
Why
Dream
not both?
Dragon.
Maybe Ysera doesn't know.
And actually, I think canonically, Ysera's dead right now. Or was she brought back to life after the...
Did she make it out of the Death Realm? I mean, the Dream Realm?
Which realm is it?
I don't know.
Oh,
no.
God.
They need to get Mordekaiser and Emerald League partner programs.
And maybe that's now why TusiN can't hear, because he's so confused about all of this realm transitioning that we've been doing that it's got into TusiN's brain, and he's like, no,
I'm pretty sure
I'm done.
the guy just gave him a QSS, though. Did you see?
Did he QSS the microphone? He's wrapped
he had
it up?
like rubber gloves on and a mask, and I feel like he would use that because white glove delivery for something that can pull you through dimensions.
Yep.
I think that makes sense, and now he can hear us. Now he's smiling.
Yeah, now he's figured it out. He's like, actually, it'd be okay to be in Mordekaiser's Dream Realm.
Right.
And so we're totally fine.
Oh, man. BDD's like, you hear these guys? They're crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he actually had to, like, I assume the ref came over and explained to TusiN that he could rush QSS.
Now, that fan that they have right there, is that in the Death Realm?
I think everything's in the Death Realm now.
All right, I didn't know.
That's what's happened. The LCK is in the Death Realm that's in the Death Realm, thanks to Echo.
No, I think
because Echo keeps casting his ult and extending the Death Realm back in time. So we are in a perpetual state of Death Realm, actually.
This is really good.
Yeah.
This is really good. So...
There are some actually intelligent people, by the way, in chat that are really upset right now. You know? It's like that one philosophy major that's just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everyone knows there are 16 shapes of the Death Realm, and obviously we're not in any of them because it's a video game.
Do you think that Mordekaiser has claustrophobia, and he wants to try to instill that in others, and that's why
I think he's got agoraphobia, because he tries to put everyone in a set location.
Yeah, but it's very small.
Yeah.
You notice that?
It is. So that's why he puts them in the Death Realm, because he likes to be in an enclosed space.
Okay.
Yeah, he's agoraphobic.
Okay.
And also, this once again goes back to the original lore, where he's like a mystical being that's not actually corporeal, hanging out in a suit of armor.
Alexa?
Because like that, yeah, sort of. This is actually Scarlett Johansson from Her. You know, she's been given a body. It was Mordekaiser. That's how he got there. Why doesn't he do more like cool moves and stuff like that? He just like waves his like thing around. If he's Black Widow, surely he'd be a little bit more dexterous. Oh no.
What if he is the Black Widow? Did you just assume?
That's true. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you see?
I mean, the Pentakill skin really does ruin this whole situation.
Alexa, play Pentakill.
Oh.
You never thought about that line.
But how does that have to do with Black Widow?
No. Where's Siri?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Let's ask Siri. Can you ask Siri about the state of Death Realm that we're in at the moment? Because I think the longer this pause goes on, the closer we're getting to that. Oh, no.
Okay. This is great.
TusiN does have his headset back on. Maybe because headset issues in the LCK generally infect each other. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the first headset to have the problem is the first Echo to ult in the Death Realm, and then it all just spreads and continues, and something quantum physics somewhere, something.
That is really bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know, because TusiN seems to be fine now, unless we're experimenting, unless we're waiting for a restart of the computer. It looks like now, though, Clid and Rascal are getting ready to get back into the game. Yeah, I'm
finger and mouse movement.
Fingers on keyboards. I think we are out of sepia mode. That was probably the silliest pause conversation rant we have ever had.
What?
I think.
Or like, I'd be surprised if
either
NASA
the silliest
isn't in your DMs at the end of this.
It's either the silliest or
hold
the
on,
most
I'm sorry, hold
intellectual.
on. Elon Musk is calling. Hold on. I think
you need to go and help invent his Mars rocket, something like that. Now, I want to build this rocket in the death realm. Or is it the dream realm? Can you explain it to
He wants to make a Tesla out of Mordekaiser's suit of armor. He's wondering if he can farm him.
Maybe he's going to harness his energy to make a new battery or something like that. We've lost it. We're done so. All right, aiming and TusiN are in lane. TusiN seems like he can hear his partner. And that is great news as we battle to get to level 2. Come on, mate. Let's get back into it.
You gotta be in the same realm to hear each other. You know?
Oh no! Oh, that's probably what it was. He was, and that's why they brought the QSS over.
I get it. All right, let's get back into this now, though.
Yeah.
We've solved it.
Clid's gone for a level 2 gank on aiming without his flash. I like it a lot. There it is. Exhaust immediately. Twitch exhaust there from TusiN. Liked it. Clid picked his moment, but didn't quite manage to get in there. Now I believe that ward is out of position as SoHwan trying to do some damage here to Rascal, but this is not a battle you end up winning, Mr. Aatrox.
That was also the most bizarre, impossible gank I've seen in a long time. That was Malrong-esque. You know,
I mean, it is a level 2 gank, and as soon as it's a level 2 gank, it is Malrong-esque.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something. And you know what? I think that Clid's just trying to let Malrong know not to try to sub in.
Yeah, don't turn up in my game. As there's a scat of the week, but bonO not able to make it work. Has to use his flash to get out of the way of bonO. So bonO demonstrating that this is how you make a gank work. Wait until level 3, then you have all of your buttons. Much easier to do. Does get that summoner spell.
This is really scary, though. That means Syndra will not have her flash when Ornn hits 6. And so that could potentially just be a pretty easy regank.
Yeah, also means that Kuro has a much easier time in the lane as well, because bonO is going to have to respect the Ornn a little bit more and respect the location of the Jarvan. Well, he's getting a land down here as TusiN taking way too much damage, has to eat that grey health, but he's still so damn low. Ruler not wanting to flash or do anything like that just yet, but now bonO comes down, gets just the edge of that stun, and bonO, if it doesn't work the first time, come down and get a double kill the second, as he takes one and Ruler takes the other.
Yeah, and TusiN just really too far up with what he was trying to do, and so this is a very unfortunate turn of events that just ended up occurring.
Oh yeah.
Syndra getting 2 assists, TusiN picking up one of the kills for himself as well. So now we'll see how this all transitions. And I mean, you just gotta look at this and you have to ask yourself, what is TusiN and aiming even trying to achieve with that tongue lash? Their jungler nowhere nearby. Ornn is never teleporting to this in a million years. Aatrox not even in a location to teleport to. He could just end up getting grabbed by Mordekaiser up there in top lane.
Also, bonO holding onto the turret aggro for as long as possible, allowing Clid to get a few extra autos and spells off onto aiming and guarantee that extra kill. Fantastic to see here from Gen.G. Certainly playing like a well-oiled machine in that particular instance. We'll just try and forget about that first gank from Clid. Still, you know, no harm, no foul. SoHwan looking for Rascal, but doesn't get the last hit of the Q. Now, this was a matchup that we said was slightly Aatrox favored. But I want to talk about, you know, something that you do love talking about, which is the different modes of each champion and things like that.
Yeah.
Is this Aatrox composition one that is going to be able to work out?
Well, in this particular dynamic, because Ornn and Aphelios are there, all he needs to really do is act as a meat shield for the Aphelios. And then once the gears are in motion, then he's able to flip a switch and try to go onto the enemy team. But he's obviously not going to fulfill his role as good as some other bruisers would be able to. But in the event that KT ever gets ahead, then it would end up being pretty good. And Clid and BDD are really roaming, and Kuro has level 6, not going to use it.
Yeah, that was actually a teleport towards the top side here for Kuro. Allowed KT to also grab themselves the Cloud Drake, given that bonO was towards the bottom side of the map. 3 men invested top side, means that one was available. Next is going to be a Mountain, as we'll finally get a new Dragon Soul in this game. It was very cloudy up until this point. So it will be Ocean or Infernal Soul. TusiN taking a fair bit of damage. I'm thinking about Ruler with a Infernal Soul on it. Sounds like a very scary prospect, but same can be said for what aiming would be able to do. I feel like Aphelios is a blessing and a curse for a player like aiming, because Aphelios, you get rewarded for playing overly aggressively with some of his guns. Crescendum and Infernum come to mind. Crescendum with its tiny range, certainly one of those. But aiming has a habit of playing overly aggressive at times where he shouldn't.
Yeah, and you know, in this game, all that he needs to do is actually go pretty much even in the early and mid game. Eventually, let the ornaments come in.
Yep.
For the entire team, just like we saw in the Dom1 versus T1 games. Then you see what can end up going on, or what can end up happening from there at that point in time. And Atlas, I have something exciting to tell you.
Okay.
This game will either be an Infernal or an Elite.
I know, I said that before, and yeah, we don't have another Cloud Soul, which is just great in and to itself, because we get to see a different Analyst Desk segment.
Yeah.
Because the AR reflects the type of Drake that the team managed to lock down as far as the Soul. So that is some really cool tech that we have not utilized whatsoever. And we here at the LCK like to utilize stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully we're going to be able to here in this game. I don't know whether I like that skin. The Mordekaiser skin. It's got so many cool ones
a real... Well, no, that one's actually real. Have you ever seen the first-person view of the Death Realm?
Oh, is it really cool?
It's something. It's literally hell.
I've never used that skin, so I wouldn't know.
It's basically hell.
Damn, that's cool.
It is cool, yeah.
So I take it all back.
You know, I can actually justify it. Now, if we want to, you know, make maybe a better skin, if we're Riot Games, then
yeah,
I would personally recommend a Prestige Edition. All right, okay, slap $100.
I'd be keen. Let's just wait until after this team fight that might occur as Kuro comes in, throws out the Ornhorn. That's a triple knock-up, but the bullet time's going to come into any follow-up. Now teleport to come forward from SoHwan. They definitely want to take Shelly here. She's down to about 1,000, and Gen.G can't find their way in. Now Rascal has been caught out of position, pulled back by the Infernal Chains, and smacked down. In the Death Realm now, though, there's a lot of damage coming onto SoHwan, but he's not even able to win that particular fight. Rascal just going to go down. Shelly resets, but she's now going to be taken for free by KT that were able to turn that completely on its head.
It was definitely a very bizarre sequence of events there for the Mordekaiser. He walked up like he wanted to hard engage, but then nothing ended up happening.
Yeah, it wasn't a moment that Gen.G were able to actually find success. I think as soon as you see that Ornhorn, you run the hell out of dodge. Yeah. It wasn't what he decided to do.
Minute and a half now until the Mountain Dragon ends up coming up. Does look like Jarvan is going Tang. And with the other resistances that champions on KT are going to be getting, especially Ornn, getting that Mountain Dragon should be actually pretty high priority for KT.
Well, 1 minute until that's available. As we have a look at this one more time, keep your eye on where Mordekaiser is, as well as it's a pretty good ultimate coming out of Kuro to start it up.
The really weird thing is that even if Kellin lands the hook, with everything that is going on, with Ornn basically coming in with a almost flank of sorts, nothing is really going to be able to be achieved, and then Rascal just walking straight into his death.
Yeah, not what you wanted. Still has Flash available, so I guess he's going to be fine in the lane, and it's kept up as far as CS is concerned. So Gen.G still retain a gold lead, because all that time, Brawler was able to just sit on the bottom side and take plates from the bottom outer turret. So everything calming down once again. 15 seconds, that Mountain Drake will be on the Rift. You can see bonO already there in position to try and take it. There's a Lee Sin in the mid lane trying to put pressure onto Kuro, who does still have flash. Everything available is absolutely fine. Let's see whether this bottom lane is what turns the tide on the availability of that next Drake for either team. Good stunt coming down onto Kuro there. Speedy holds onto the ultimate. It's Clid now in trouble. Flash is going to come forward, but there's the second proc. And the ultimate to come down from aiming as well. That's going to secure it. And KT should transition very comfortably into a second Drake.
And so now they're going to pick this up. They're 2 dragons away now from Soul. And if you are KT, the Soul that you're ideally looking for here is Ocean. That way, it reduces all chance that you should, in theory, be able to lose.
Yeah.
Mostly because Mordekaiser sustained damage, Lee Sin sustained damage. Syndra is burst damage, but just get 1 resistance or something, and then she's not going to be able to do that to you anymore. And so Ocean is
my personal favorite, Dragon Soul, because it makes the rift so pretty. Look at all the flowers.
Are you a botanist?
I am when it comes to League of Legends.
Okay.
Absolutely. Certainly not a qualified botanist, just in general.
Do you do herbalism and alchemy and in WoW?
I do.
Okay.
On my secondary. Otherwise, I'm an engineer, staying true to my father and my roots. As there's the Moonlight Vigil, and there's aiming skill onto Clid. Pretty comfortable stuff here. bonO's going to eat himself some newly acquired honey fruit, thanks to the Ocean Rift. As, that's a hook. And he does go golden. The box is set, but KT are going to get their rotation over. Kuro breaks down one of the walls. He's otherwise just going to turn around. Kuro gets out scot-free. Gen.G retains some of their vision control in the enemy jungle, but otherwise that's all they're going to get.
So KT, even though they are currently behind in gold, they do have the better team composition. Warren already has the Abyssal Mask. BDD and Clid now, they're coming down. They know that they're on ward.
That's a Rift Herald in the middle of the lane. Clid gonna get locked down. Moonlight Vigil comes out just to secure the kill there for aiming. The raining auto attacks from the sky are enough to do it. Ruler gonna have to get out of the way of TusiN here with threatening a tongue lash, but isn't actually going to be able to find the misfortune. And Clid just unfortunate positioning, great vision available from KT. And this is not the KT we saw at Kesper Cup. This is a KT that's looking like a well-oiled machine coming into the mid-game.
And I mean, one of the really key things about this game is, like I was mentioning, it's very akin to the T1 versus Dom1 game, where T1 were basically in Gen.G's position, where they're going to get outscaled, they're not accruing sizable enough advantages, and now the question becomes, can they outdance KT? And if the answer is no, well, yes, a lot of the variables are different, but we're going to have to judge and evaluate in what way can they not outdance them.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at this once again. Unfortunate that Clid was seen on vision and does skirt away from one, but as soon as the tongue lash landed, aiming with his Calibrum was able just to snipe him down all too easy. Feels a little bit like talking about Caitlyn when a gun is in employment.
Caitlyn's a sheriff.
Ah, she is. And Felios is
not a sheriff.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how that works.
Is a vessel for someone so that he can do some stuff. He's got really complicated lore, actually.
Does he actually?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't read his lore. You know the guy that does the power levels for champions? You know what I'm talking about? You ever read those threads? That guy's a badass.
Oh yeah, I do like those.
I love that. That guy's good. He's cool.
Well, Kuro is somehow leading in experience by quite a large margin. BDD actually almost behind an entire level to the Ornn, which is not a matchup that I'd be expecting him to have a level advantage in, but there we go. First tower is going to be taken here on the bottom side of the map, and it goes to KT. And we've got a minute 30 until the next Drake. This is KT's squad that now have 2 dragons in the bank, a composition that will peak in the next 10 minutes, and the availability of having a Dragon Soul at the same time of an appropriate type. This is going about as well for KT as it can.
Ooh. This is one of the really cool things. Aphelios just straightens up Mordekaiser. Really, really good. It's one of the 80 carries that Mord can't just mindlessly death realm and then try to hope that he can kill.
Aiming going to have to try and truck towards an Infinity Edge as quickly as possible to try and get his Ornn item. Kuro already with one in his back pocket.
I'm going to really point out that all of these Korean Ornn players are definitely SoHwans.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they're Abyssal
But
Mask,
this is what
right
all of our Ornn players
are.
They've always done this. I don't even think, like, Ornn players have barely ever bought the Iceborne Gauntlet in Korea. My memory.
Well,
serves.
it's really good in the jungle because you already have Bombies.
Okay, yeah.
You already have Cinderhulk, so
you can't build.
Yeah, you lose the Immolate. Yeah, so kind of sucks. So in that regard, getting the Iceborne's okay in the jungle, but
what would be the other option? I guess you could get support items and things like that. Like
you
Locket
can't. Well, Riot actually forbids it. You can't stack items.
No, I know, but you could get Abyssal Mask and Locket instead of Abyssal Mask.
Yeah.
Let's just pause for one moment, as this is the Wombo combo that we wanted to see from KT. Clid one auto away from death, but Calibrum not enough to do it, as now Rascal has put bonO in the death realm. Can he actually win the fight is the question, as bonO just waits and then gets a perfectly timed flag and drag to get him to safety. Bullet time has to be cancelled early. Rascal stays alive for a really long time and takes Kellin's Lantern to get out to safety, and TusiN with the clutch Devour gets aiming out of the way of the hook. KT walk away with one kill and should have inside track on this outer turret mid and the Ocean Drake as well.
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to get this Ocean Dragon. They're going to be one dragon away, and now they are threatening a 23-minute Ocean Soul, which absolutely single-handedly will end the game.
Really dangerous for Gen.G. I think most people were expecting Gen.G to pretty comfortably win this series, to be honest. The KT really making them work for it, showing that this new composition, the new coaching staff for this squad is so far working out. Of course, TusiN and Harai and Acorn all working together in the previous year on Dragon X. But otherwise, you know, SoHwan and bonO both coming over from Hanwha. Kuro coming over from China. And let's have a look at this fight one more time, as these Moonlight Vigils coming out from this grabbed up gun out of aiming has been really nice to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the lockup into the Ornn ultimate, it was a little unfortunate they couldn't actually get Mordekaiser there. Aatrox just not quite able to lock him down, but they're in such a commanding position right now. Kuro about to hit level 13. He just did it, so now he's going to be able to give the Black Cleaver over to the Aatrox. And then after that, it's probably going to be the next item. I don't know if Jarvan is actually building Black Cleaver. I think that he is. He has a Kindle Gem.
It looks like it could be the case. Is now BDD in trouble. The Ram comes forward and the Ram says die. Aiming is going to allow that to happen, and they'll follow it up with this outer turret on the top side of the map. KT seem to be getting the picks where they need them and then taking all the objectives. They have sacrificed bottom lane outer turret, but this is all KT so far in this mid game.
Yeah, and even now the thing at the top is that might be confusing to a lot of people. Why are they only 1.5k ahead despite getting all this tempo, all this advantage, etc.? And a lot of it just stems from, you look at the CS gaps in some of the areas. The Mordekaiser, I mean, he's essentially up 20, 80 carry.
Yeah, Ruler is up a lot of money because he took all of the plates as well. And they've taken the whole outer ring of turrets.
So that's where stuff is going. And BDD walking up way too far, and I really like how quick they were to punish BDD's misstep. So 2.5 minutes now until Ocean Soul. It doesn't actually look like Jarvan is getting anything. And also, Kuro is not walking towards Aatrox to give him an ornament. Oh, I'm sorry. He already gave the Infinity Edge to Aiming.
You got a big old Molten Edge here for Aiming. This gun is well and truly souped up.
You would think that Ornn would, you know, maybe come up.
Oh, that's the ult. That's going to not land onto the acquired target, but the Ram will. Ruler have to walk away. And that's another fantastic Devour there from TusiN to get Aiming out of the way of that turret and the Death's Grasp. Now you can see why Tahm Kench was picked here. It's so that Aiming can play hyper-aggressive like he always does and not get uber-punished every time he steps forward. As bullet time just to clear out the minion wave shows some desperation here from a Gen.G that haven't found inroads this game. Gold gap already, still not quite there, given the equal turrets and extra CS. But KT do certainly have control of this map.
bonO just going to auto-attack this turret and end up raising that as well. Just under a 3,000 gold lead.
Yeah, they might actually get it over that mark as well, because you can see BDD is up towards the top side. Does have teleport. It looks like KT bearing down on this outer turret mid aren't going to be answered. Severum looking to tear through it. He chooses to chew through his Gravitum ammo instead. And they sacrifice 2 turrets in a row to Gen.G, identifying that they want to get to a different stage of this game in order to start some fights. Such a shame though, because that first dive on the bottom side of the map really got Gen.G to a great position. But since then, it's been all about KT maneuvering around this map just better than what Gen.G have been able to.
30 seconds now until the Ocean Drake is up. A really unfortunate Kuro actually doesn't have... Oh no, I'm sorry. He just got the Sunfire Cape.
Yep.
Right on time. Planned. Also has the heal from Spellbook.
I like to call it the Goose Down Sunfire Cape. That keeps you real warm. Real warm. Have you got a Goose Down coat for winter?
Nope. I just have my... I have the... I don't know if it exists. I don't know. Do you know the National Geographic brand?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that is... I don't know if that's a thing in the West.
It is a thing, but it's just not super in like it is over here.
Okay.
Like, everyone loves their National Geographic brand stuff. Well, I went to Costco the other day and they had National Geographic brand phone cases in like fancy displays. It was really weird.
That's very strange.
Yeah.
You know what I haven't seen in a long time? A TV.
Oh yeah, why?
I don't know. That just randomly came into my mind.
Okay. Saw a few of them at Costco the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Achilles was trying to recommend me some new TVs, and I was like, I don't need a TV. As the Ocean Soul just picked up for free. Gen.G unable to actually do anything about it. This is going to make this game even more difficult. SoHwan inherently has a heck of a lot of lifesteal in his kit. Now World Ender is going to make him almost unkillable unless he's hard CC'd forever. And aiming, you pair Severum with Ocean Soul, like, you're just never going to die.
Look at that Tom Kench. Oh, he's well fed.
And look,
yeah,
so that he can get out of the multiple layers of Death Realm, TusiN has solved his pause issue by buying the QSS.
Gave to him, and now we have absolute confirmation. There's no hiding it anymore.
Yeah, beautiful. And now it's made sense to everyone. Our entire conversation about multiple layers of Death Realm. It really has.
Now, Tom Kench can eat people out of things, but can he eat someone out of the Death Realm?
No, because he can't see them.
What if Mordekaiser raises his hand to sort of bring the person to the Death Realm?
Yeah.
And then just like at the end of that movie, Constantine,
can you pop the Death Realm?
Tom eats the person out of Mordekaiser's hand.
Yeah, yeah, sort of like grabs them out of the hole that they're falling down.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, maybe.
And then puts them into his hole.
I'm actually not sure how that works. So, yeah, don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But maybe. I'd like to say maybe. You know, I'm a positive guy.
Well, I'm pretty positive that unlike the W1.D1.BO3 series where it was like sliver of hope, even though W1 were super far ahead and T1 managed to pull off Miracle in Game 2 and 3, I don't think the same really exists.
Well, I mean...
For Gen.G.
I were pretty sure that things were over in that T1 series.
We were. But did T1 have an ocean...
Look at this damage received grab, by the way. bonO, the king of receiving damage in this game. I think that bonO probably has the highest overall damage received per game in the LCK.
Do you think he's a masochist?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he plays Olaf, you know? Like,
all right.
What is Ragnarok?
Ooh.
Other than that, you know?
What about actually just Mundo?
Oh, he does have an ability called Masochist.
Honestly.
It's so sad that the Mundo jungle era was before bonO's time in the LCK.
It is sad.
Oh, so on Mr. Kellin as well. That's also unfortunate. Gen.G is theoretically still scaling, still trying to find items, still trying to get further forward, and Ruler does have a 55 CS lead and very close to his third item. The highest win rate solo queue Misfortune build is in fact Essence Reaver Infinity Edge Bloodthirster.
Okay.
And that is where Ruler has gone this game as well, by the looks of things.
This is actually, this is the part of the game where stuff starts to get really sad. The extremely long posturing. Now, okay, we have a blue trinket. Are they actually going to commit to it? Are they going to turn off it and be like, no, 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 no. There's a 4.7268 repeating chance that we could lose the Baron here.
Yeah, we really want aiming to be shooting the Baron, please. Gets out his Infernum, a lot of DPS available there as Clid is going to turn up. The Sonic Wave is going to wear off.
Okay.
Well, remember, Rascal can just move in and try and get bonO out of the fight, but there's the Ornhorn they're choosing to turn instead of this one as BDD. Not going to get taken. Rascal in the backline, but out of the Death Realm and into the Death Chamber by the looks of things. Aiming going to put the last bullet in that one. And KT should have the kill that they were looking for in order to secure this Baron. No more does bonO need to worry about being put into a Death Realm and not having access to a smite.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, you could also see the healing, how hard it is for members on Gen.G to actually do anything.
Well, TusiN does QSS to get out of the way of that hook. And the Baron is still taking damage. Remember, Clid is still alive. This is still theoretically a 50-50 if they don't play this one really well. Clid has flash. He can get into this pit, but he's not able to do a double smite. He's going to lock it down thanks to the unsealed spellbook, and now SoHwan flashing in to try and win the team fight afterwards as well. Ruler not going to be able to feel for himself whatsoever, but flashes out of the way. The heal is there as well as bonO doesn't have his ultimate, and Ruler's just kited them all out. The rest of his team is dead, but that part of it looked damn cool from the Gen.G 80 carry, and now he's going to strut himself out of there, but still a well worth a team fight for KT.
Now KT with this Abyssal Voyage, not as clean as it could have been, but it's fine. Aphelios, like one of those like sales people at like rest stops. They're like, do you want to, you know? Like,
yep. That was actually really sad. He's playing his Demon Hunter from Diablo 3, strafing on top of them. Okay, so what happens? Severum does that.
I think that
first inhibitor going to go down.
They can end the game. They do not need to back off here.
Doesn't look like they're going to either as the Ornhorn comes in once again. Oh god, they're both stunned up. Aiming with a glorious ultimate. SoHwan dives in on top. That's a double kill for the Aatrox, but aiming's Aphelios has been the best that we've seen so far today by the looks. Nexus is going to suffer some defeat, and 29 minutes in very quick fashion. KT go against what our expectations were and take down Gen.G in game one.
And this is a really, really big turnaround so far here in game number one. They had a much better draft. You saw it, B1 Ornn. There's very few things that are potentially better than B1 Ornn, I'll tell you that much, Atlas.
B1 Ornn and B1 Gragas are what I've learned are pretty good.
Those are two of the best B1s.
Oh.
Okay.
You want to be LS's friend and you're a coach. Draft round one Ornn.
If you B1 set,
yeah, no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you're a sinner like both of the teams in our first series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Impure.
You don't want to be that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No. But the Ornn worked out very, very well. I have to shout out Kuro just with how he played the Ornn in what can be a rough matchup. bonO comes in, gets exactly the gank that he needs to at the time that he needs to, so that Kuro can stay in that matchup. And they just continue to snowball it from there.
The amount of pressure that was on Clid, I mean, going for a one-camp gank bot lane that can never work in a million years.
It was a strange one.
Endless amount of forcing that he was trying to do with BDD, both top lane and bot lane, getting clapped for it.
Yeah.
Eventually at one point, and then they just got outscared. I mean, it really just is like that. So draft is very important, which is really cool. We can't all be T1.
But what I love is that we have a look at this draft, and it's a draft where they had a Tahm Kench, which you hate. They have an Aatrox, which you hate. But the draft, if you design it around certain picks that can be a worry, then it can work out. And we saw this time around, in a game that is won at 29 minutes, hell yeah, you can do it with an Aatrox. You can do it with a Jarvan, with things like this. Oh, sorry, Aaron. I mean,
yeah, I mean, close
that
enough.
guy that went to O'Shea Kennedy's office and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that And Aiming did a hell of a lot of work. Like, he was down in farm, yes, but he was able to play out these team fights really, really well on the Aphelios and was landing the Moonlight Vigils that you need. It was really nicely played.
Well, we'll see if the Aphelios actually draws a ban in game number 2. And also, how is KT actually going to bounce back from this? Will we see a substitution or anything? Like I said,
yeah,
it was only...
I mean, Gen.G can put life in, but otherwise I don't think they have too many other options as far as substitutions. Yeah. So we'll see whether it is going to be life making his way onto the Rift or whether it's going to be the same roster just trying it again in game 2. A lot of expectations on Gen.G's shoulders and theoretically 2 games to try and earn them in this series. If you go into the distance, see you back after the break for game 2. Thank you so much, G-Sun, for that glorious translation of our analyst desk for today. Lovely to see the Ocean Rift represented as well. And congratulations to Aiming. I think there was no questions there about his performance. But this guy on your screen right here, they said that apparently bonO and the rest of KT had his number when it came to his early game pathing, and certainly looked like that when we were observing the Rift in game 1. But this is what happens. And I love that this, like, so KT have changed every player and the coaching staff. Now they're off to a great start. What the most KT thing to do now is to catastrophically lose the next 2 games.
Okay. Well, this is what I don't like when people, they talk about a team as if it hasn't completely changed. You know what I mean?
All right, so like it's still KT.
Yeah.
But it's not.
This isn't
at all.
No. You know what I mean?
It is still the same KT that we saw in the Casper Cup. And they still lost to Hanwha Live.
Atlas.
Yeah.
Does that go in the death row?
No, stop it. I put a ban on this. It's not happening.
I don't know what the answer was from chat, but...
Well, we didn't get one.
Yeah, we didn't get one.
I think everyone...
I think they're still deliberating.
Yeah.
Maybe they're in the death row.
I think there are a few savants in chat that certainly know exactly what we were talking about and are just shaking their heads at us. First ban going to be the Olaf. That's against bonO. Surprise, surprise. He had a great game 1. Ban away the comfort picks as Aphelios is taken away second by Gen.G.
And Akali banned away yet again. Now, I'm really curious, where is Senna and why is she not appearing in Korea?
I have a feeling she's going to be picked this game.
You know what? I actually have the same feeling.
She might even be first picked by Gen.G.
Ooh.
No, if Orn's left up,
listen.
They have to first pick Orn.
Hold on.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself.
They need to... hold on. It's either going to be... Let's have a first pick Lucian if it's left open. Okay.
Okay. KT should ban it here, though, shouldn't they?
If it's not, let's have a first pick...
Gragas.
Atrox. No, come on. Gen.G has shown that they are full of sin.
Oh, no. No, it has to be Elise first pick. Oh, no. Elise is going to be banned.
Okay.
It should be a Gragas first pick. Oh, no. They're going to go for the On.
What is going on here?
This is savant picking right here.
Korea has identified B1 Orn.
In this series.
Yeah.
They didn't identify it in the first one.
Maybe they watched the podcast.
Hey, they watched it while Damwon and T1 was going on because it was such a long series. They had time. There we go.
MF being hovered.
Yeah, KT thinking about taking away the next in line. And that is going to be picked up here for Aiming this time. Rek'Sai considered, and that's a bonO pick. Certainly a sinner, though. But something that bonO has certainly played before, and he does have a very good aggressive style in the early game. We'll see how that translates to this one.
Just lease in and outscale it in a vacuum. Also, you already have the Ornn component. And now, at this point, you can just choose your mid laner. So, yeah. Okay. All right, we're right on script. Now, Syndra can come in for Kuro.
Okay. See whether they stick to that one, or whether it's going to be something else. They can take a support here if they'd like as well. Keep things real flexy. But it looks like it's all about the LS predictions this time around, as Rumble is more often than not picked for the mid lane, and Kuro is going to take that one away. SoHwan could, of course, play it. We've seen it more in mid, Season 10.
I don't think that you're worried about Lucian at this stage of the draft, especially because Lucian and his support would have to be shown face up. And so you can actually just pick your top laner and then counterpick support, in theory. Yeah, and what I mean by that is counterpick a mage support in order to abuse Lucian plus his duo, and then...
Oh, are we quite ready for that here in the LCK yet?
I don't think that we are really...
Is that level of drafting
they're
really an
not
availability?
prepared, no.
I don't know, man. Do you know what I'm interested about?
What?
I'm just gonna cheat a little bit because I need to jump into OPGG and check out what Kellin's been playing. That's Varus banned.
Yeah, so this is what I meant.
Are KT gonna pick top Lucian and deny?
Oh, and then force them on to Ezreal.
Yeah.
And then Gen.G would be playing Ezreal Zoe.
It's an opportunity here.
TusiN. Well,
that's Camille. That's a very different champion. But still a flex pick between top and mid. So I don't mind it. bonO's smiling to himself as the Camille is locked away. That is, of course, not his champion. However, there's the Kalista. So we've stepped all the way away from it, and Kellin's going to take away his Taric as well on the bottom side of the map. This is a very different composition coming out from Gen.G, apart from Clid, who is still on the Lee Sin.
Definitely very interesting. So the mage support is still entirely a possibility. Probably not going to stay. Probably going to get like a Braum or something. Knowing, okay, there it is.
The Alistair to come through from TusiN, certainly an old favorite of his, and does pair well with the Misfortune. I do like it when it's aiming as well, because now at least TusiN can go in when aiming's being ham.
Yeah.
And aiming does certainly like to go as aggressive as possible at any given moment. Worked out in game number 1. Whether it'll work out again in game number 2, I'm not entirely sure. Currently, Kellin is rank 53 in solo queue and has been playing a lot of Taric. In fact, 11 games played so far this season with an 82% win rate.
Okay.
Ain't bad at all.
Definitely not.
And it's been the Kalista Taric combo that he's been playing alongside Ruler in solo queue. So, see how much we necessarily need to read into it. Hasn't played it so much in the last week, only that one time, but it was the Taric Kalista.
So they actually do have some pretty good Ornn items. Obviously, Kalista has Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good upgrade for Kalista players when that particular ornament was introduced into the game. I believe that was alongside the Frozen Fist and the Luden's Echo upgrade as well, which Medic made an absolutely hilarious joke about on the LEC broadcast. You guys probably should go back and watch that. I was in
What
stitches.
happened?
He made an Echo joke, Luden's Echo joke.
I don't get it.
It's okay. Neither do most people.
What?
Yeah. It was,
were you talking about Echo again?
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about Echo.
In the Mordekaiser?
Yeah, in the Death Realm. I was talking. He made that joke.
What if Echo is actually Luden's, and it's just a translation error?
Oh my.
What
so
if
maybe
Echo...
we should actually call in Luden from now on.
What if Echo's name was mistranslated from whatever symbols they originally read it as, and he's actually Luden's Echo? What if Echo is Luden?
Goodness. I'm just going to call him Luden from now on and give it no extra thought. That's how I'm going to tackle this particular problem. We've got the emerald gorgeousness that is Taric. Shout out to Dongjun over on the caster desk. A lot of Korean fans do think that he looks like Taric. That is why you've seen the cosplay in the past.
Well, in this game, Zoe is really getting her workout on. Honestly, I'm a little impressed that she manages to remain that agile while in motion with that jump rope. Now, this guy, this little smug, cocky, oh my god.
Kuro's a lord. He knows how to spam.
You know, I get so mad when I see that smug
Yordle's
Yordle's face
like hanging out. It's another fairly Pacific Rim style mech situation.
No, it's Dr. Eggman.
I know it is Dr. Eggman.
When does Sonic come out?
Or Dr. Robotnik. Isn't it already out or something? Has it been recalled again? Have they had to redo like?
No.
You're
You're thinking of Warcraft 3 Refunded.
Oh no.
That's
Do you know what I did? I didn't purchase it.
I didn't either. I didn't even know it came out.
Well,
until yesterday in Twitch chat.
Did it come out?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it's still coming out.
Yeah. Well, that's a dazzle onto TusiN. Takes a fair bit of damage there as well. As Ruler is certainly a very notable Kalista player. This is going to be a rough lane for KT, just because Ruler is very good at playing very far up on this pick. And as long as Kellin just does what he's told, Ruler should be able to solo carry this one. But it's whether or not the game can be played around Ruler from KT's part as to whether or not they're going to be able to get themselves back in. And I find it interesting because often you talk about a Misfortune lane, at least in the past, with Misfortune generally having a lot of power, but not so far.
Well,
that's
a really nice trade there by Rascal.
Yeah, SoHwan really struggling. As Rascal finally finding his time in the sun. Wasn't necessarily a man that made his, I don't know, made his claim to fame on the tank champions. It was more on the carries.
His redemption!
Of course, uses Zoe in the LCK. They all have redemption at least level 4. Beat it a little bit early at level 3, but it's generally how that works.
Alright, well...
I've stopped getting tilted by it because it happens every time without fail.
Okay.
So I'm starting to say that, you know, the Zoe that doesn't get it was wrong.
Wow. Okay.
It was okay. I was actually trying to steal bonO's Cutler away, but also using it as a scouting tool, which we haven't seen so much. Often it's used for harass.
Yeah.
Or sort of a bit of both.
Definitely a really good usage of it. So, bonO not going to be super far behind by any means. He will be down 1 camp. He's moving around. How do you think Rek'Sai moves like this under the Rift? Honestly, it's a bit impressive.
Has Ruler actually used his Oathsworn yet? He does still have it hanging out. I know you can rebuy it.
Can you? Is it free?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think you can buy it as many times as you want.
Because
you have to use it again if you want to change your Oathsworn, I think, or something. There's something about that.
Ooh. Okay, I did not know that.
I don't know.
Caster,
Maybe
by the
I'm
way.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Coach, too.
Well, play-by-play, by the way, so
yeah.
Generally you should take LS's word for most things, but as far as I remember, that's a thing. But he does still have it sitting there, and he probably should have an Oathsworn. So I'm perplexed. We'll see whether he does use it in lane or something like that.
Well,
someone could tweet at us and just confirm. Right now, I'm not quite able to hop on the Google and check it out.
Right now in this game, Gen.G is ahead pretty much across the board, and unlike in game number 1, they're not going to be the ones that are on the back foot to scaling. The only thing that they really have to fade is either if Camille gets too big or if Misfortune gets too big. So we'll have to see what ends up transpiring. SoHwan looking like he wants a recall, but Rascal does not seem keen to allow him to do that.
Yeah, it feels like he wants a redo on the laning phase so far.
If I see a Glacial Shroud built by Rascal, I'm going to lose a little bit of faith.
Uh-huh. Well, it's not there yet. That should be a catalyst, right?
I would hope that's a catalyst.
It's a catalyst.
Okay.
Come on.
He's fine.
Come on.
He's fine. I'm sorry.
He's an LC. What? See there. He hadn't used it yet.
What is that?
All right,
okay.
I do have confirmation from old mate Pabu from back in OCE. Shout out to Pabu, the king of 1v1s. Didn't quite do as well this year at All Stars, but otherwise a fantastic player. No, he's Pabu. Pabu, mate.
Pahu.
Kind of like means idiot in Korean.
Does it really?
You know,
Babo.
Babo. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, he said you can rebuy it and reuse it for like a minute at the beginning of the game, but otherwise you can't rebuy it. I knew that there was a rebuy thing that you could do, but I was pretty sure it wasn't. I wasn't quite correct. So there you go. Ruler just hadn't used it. So now finally Oathsworn as TusiN taken a lot of damage to start this one off, but gets the aftershock and survives for a long time. Still walking away, potion ticking. And both junglers couldn't turn the tide of that one in either direction. No first blood to go down within the first 6.5 minutes.
That one was such a close call. It honestly just looked like bot lane was about to start snowballing. As Ruler and friends now, they're going to turn their attention to the Infernal Dragon.
Actually, I have now conflicting reports that you can just rebuy it. I don't know. But Infernal is going to be going down here. Ren stacks were in there, of course. Isn't as good at securing objectives as it used to be, but still going to be helpful. Wasn't actually necessary in that particular moment. And Infernal Drake very easily goes over to Gen.G, and we don't have Cloud Rift again! Hopefully we get Mountain Drake. Mountain Soul for our next section, although I don't think we'll be able to see it if KT wins. So hopefully Gen.G are able to win this game, and then we get to check out Mountain Soul as SoHwan gets himself the stun there onto Rascal, but Rascal's pretty tanky. True damage going to be helping there with the second Q. Sorry, second E. Alright.
Rexa, doesn't know about Clid. Good night.
Well, Rascal does at least have the on-horn. bonO's going to flash, gets himself out of the way.
Clid misplaying it, didn't actually open with Dragon Kick, which was very surprising.
An odd maneuver.
And so Rek'Sai is actually going to be able to barely skate the way there. And now they're going to be able to pick up the Rift Herald here at 8 minutes. So Shirley is also going to come online extremely early. Also, this game again, Ocean or Mountain Soul?
Yeah, this time around a possible Mountain Soul. Last time we had the availability of an Infernal Soul, but this time not going to be there. And the Mountain is now up for grabs. Hopefully it is the Mountain, although I do love Ocean Rift.
Do you?
Oh, I'm torn, because I want to see a new one, but I also just really like Ocean.
Okay.
Just for aesthetics. As BDT, of course, gets another redemption. Oh dear. Kuro hanging on in this lane pretty well, though. Looking to be building towards Leandri's as item number 2, and does have the Merc Tread, so isn't going to be fearing the bubbles as much as he otherwise could. And didn't even need that Scrap Shield. BDT a little bit short on his Paddle Stars. But this is the lane that I'm starting to get pretty worried about. Because Ruler is just chugging along, and we know how Ruler gets in the mid to late game. He's just real good. Wasn't able to really execute last game. That was a game where Aiming was able to sort of slowly but surely get himself into teamfight readiness from extraordinarily long range. This time it's not going to be the same case. He will need to be a little bit more up close and personal.
And at this point, there's not any reason to have a lot of action end up unfolding. If you're Gen.G, you're probably feeling extremely comfortable right now to just keep playing ping pong, keep playing super safe lanes. Let the next Cloud Dragon come up, end up taking that. Let your champions coast into core items.
Kind of want to see bonO start doing something, because he's even falling behind in farm against a Lee Sin as the Rek'Sai, which is certainly not something that you want. Power farming is something that Rek'Sai have been known to do for a very long time. But this one certainly hasn't been able to make that one happen. And utilizing his flash very early on in this game in his failed attempt at a top gank certainly is not helping. No first blood still. Bit of biffo towards the bottom side, but otherwise not too much as Ruler and Kellin come up, clear out a control ward, get rid of Blast Cone, and look to reset as the recall comes down from Aiming and TusiN upon lane reset. Ruler should be able to go back, get himself pretty close to his Blade of the Ruin King on the next back. But at least Aiming now, he's got an Executioner's Calling very early to try and deny a lot of the healing that does come in from Taric. And Ruler's inherent healing with his Vamp Scepter. Here goes Shelly, and this is Ruler getting even more accelerated. Clid is going to help himself in his jungle role by picking up a bit of that gold as well. Just, I don't mind it, given the fact that it is Season 10, the season of sad junglers.
Yeah. 1.5 thousand gold advantage here at 11.5 minutes. Kalista picks up the recurve bow on her recall, also has the Bilgewater Cutlass. Probably only, I would guess, 2 minutes to 3 minutes away from Blade of the Ruin King.
And Ruler and Kuro actually battling for top gold in this game. Wasn't expecting that out of Kuro, but he has done very well in the laning phase thus far. Ruler, no surprises as far as how far ahead he is, especially given the extra plates that he was just able to pick up with the execution of that turret. That's a great dazzle, but still the kickback going to be coming down. Void Rush going to come in, but there's no flash on this bonO, and first blood goes to Clid. Looking for redemption here in game number 2 against KT.
Yeah, that was a really nice combo with the Taric stun to follow up on the Lee Sin Q. And things just are looking really bad for KT this game. So I think that your prophecy might be...
Well, I mean, as a long-time KT watcher, it feels like you can take all of the players and coaching staff out of the KT, but you can't take the KT out of the KT or something.
Infernal. There was already Infernal. I was waiting for you to try to say something else, and then...
It's Ocean Rift. It's my favorite.
Why is it your favorite? You like Bulbasaur?
Yeah, it's pretty.
You like okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's more of an Ivysaur because the flowers are out.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
TusiN Blown Ultimate, not able to actually grab anyone underneath that turret there as Rascal uses his flash to great effect.
Alright.
Were you about to ask if I'm still playing Pokemon?
Yes.
Yeah, no, not so much anymore.
No, not so much.
No. But took a bit of a time out on that one. Turret gets equalized, or at least the minion wave does. Turret takes a bit of damage, but otherwise is going to stay standing. The game is going to once again go back to what we like to happily refer to as the lull state.
And this is the most important part of the game. This is where we wait for the next Rift Herald to respawn next to Ocean Dragon, or the first Ocean Dragon to end up coming up.
Yep. And another game going pretty stock standard as far as our expectations. Let's see whether KT can buck the trend and try and turn this one around, because in game number 1, this is the position that KT was in, and they were able to very handily pick up the victory at 29 minutes. Now that task is on Gen.G's shoulders. And split push advantage, just SoHwan very unlucky. Didn't quite manage to pick up that last plate.
3,000 gold down, basically, is KT at 14 minutes. It's obviously extremely feels bad.
Especially against the composition with Bjorn, that's just feels bad, and then you look at the team comp and feel bad again.
How many times can you feel bad, Atlas?
As many times as you want, LS.
Okay.
As many times as you want.
I just wanted to clarify, that's all.
That's absolutely fine. But they can feel better if something can go right. Now Kuro has found Rascal. He's trying to burn him down here. He's got Morellonomicon as his first item. And that's why Rascal is just going to walk away scot-free.
The Forbidden Book.
Yeah.
That's really what that is.
Why is Kuro reading these texts? You should not be Kuro. He's a banned in our school. It's like Footloose all over
It really is, yeah.
Kevin Bacon. He just loves Morellonomicon.
Herald being taken right now. That'll probably just be used to crack the mid-tier 1 turret. As, again, there's really not much going on here.
No, we are lulling pretty hard.
We are really lulling right now. We need to save the viewers.
Do you know what?
Have you seen any movies lately?
So what I really wanted to watch was Contagion again.
Ooh, I did actually, I did see that. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, you've recently watched it? I really want to give it a rewatch.
Yeah.
Haven't actually
it's not
checked
on
it out
Netflix
just yet.
anymore.
One thing that is on Netflix, though, is like all of the Studio Ghibli movies are coming out.
Dude,
on Netflix.
There are so many new releases on Netflix, though.
They're
like
trying to combat
month or
the
two.
extraordinary release cycle that Disney Plus has going on.
What is Disney Plus doing?
Nothing until September.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. It is going to be Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, Mandalorian season. That is quite scary.
Where's the Obi-Wan show? I want that.
Ooh.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that would be actually a really nice one. I would really like a Vader spin-off.
That'd be cool.
That would be nice, yeah.
It's a pretty tight timeline for that one, as far as when you get to utilize it, but I'm sure they could find some interesting times. So that turret is a hair's breadth away, and BDD doesn't even get the auto, but they'll have it on the next minion wave very, very easily. Point wasting time as Gen.G take their third turret of the game, It is a much smaller map now for KT to deal with. And KT got to do something, man. Otherwise, we're just going to be talking about, you know, movies to watch. And then it's going to be a Gen.G win.
Listen, Atlas. This is what happens here now. Okay?
Yeah.
Korea is traumatized by Worlds.
Yeah.
They're afraid to just even make plays. Okay? They're afraid to try to do anything.
No. But this is KT. They're never afraid.
They are afraid.
They always do the silly stuff.
KT stands for can't try. And if you tell me that can't spelled with the C, I'll tell you okay.
And that still fits.
Exactly.
Just say K, and then it's fine.
Alien.
No, KT stands for keeps trying.
Ooh.
No matter how bad it gets. No matter how many times they've disappointed, they keep trying.
I do
That's
like
what
that.
It stands for. My cup is half full.
Ocean Dragon is alive, and I think that KT, I mean, I really love the farming simulator they got going on here.
Yeah?
Really enjoying this, the Plants vs. Zombies.
You know, I've never played a farming simulator.
Really?
Yeah. I played a lot of different
You
simulators,
play
I
Pokemon Shield and Sword.
Hey, that's not a farming simulator.
Basically is. You're farming eggs. Any
That's
truers?
true. A lot of that does.
Any true? Yeah, that's
okay.
what. See, I got you there.
You got me.
I got you on that truer.
Damn right you did.
Yeah. Weird champ.
Can't argue. Cannot argue.
Yep.
And Gen.G are one step closer to the Dragon Soul. And KT are one step closer to maybe doing something in this game. It's like Gen.G keeps poking the bear. They're like, can we have this? Can we have this? Can we have this? KT's like, okay, okay, okay. And look, it's not going so well for KT Rolster. They need to update the game plan. Because so far, they are falling further and further behind. And that is just what's happening.
I thought you were about to say they were, like, if I had to guess your next word, I thought you were about to say they're falling asleep.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's what Gen.G's, what KT's doing. That is what we are doing. And now our job is going to be to liven up these fans and talk about something truly inspirational.
Okay, what would you like to talk about?
Do you have anything truly inspirational to discuss?
Let me think. Give me about 20 seconds.
Dude, you got about 20 minutes. If you've been watching this game, that's fine. You only need one gem, really. You know?
Have you ever actually seen that music video? It's by Leslie Hall, Gem Sweater. Every time I see Tarek, I think about it. Don't. Don't.
All right,
and to anyone listening to this VOD, or if you're watching live, if you search up...
You are baiting everyone right now.
If you search up Leslie Hall, Gem Sweater, you're going to become a Tarek main, and they're going to jam out to that song.
You're going to love it?
You're going to love it. Yeah.
All right.
You need to look up Leslie Hall during the break.
No, I don't.
Because you already know that we're going to Game 3, so...
Oh, yeah, no, that's happening.
Actually, we're going to Game 4.
Yeah, no, we were supposed to go to Game 4.
And then we're going to have a cancellation.
Ah.
Yeah.
And then you're going to leave.
And then I'll see you here tomorrow 2 hours earlier.
And I'm going to call Achilles. For some reason. Even though Brendan's like right there, Valdez.
That's fine.
Right there. Ready to go. But I have to call Achilles
okay,
in
okay.
those situations.
Here we go. When is this game going to end? Hit me with it.
33 and a half minutes.
I'm going to go with 39.
Ooh, a longie.
63.
39.63 is a tough time to get to. But 40 minutes
I was
seconds.
seeing if you still had your wits.
Well,
you know?
Passed the dang test, didn't I? There we go. Simple time-based mathematics. All over it. All over it. Nothing is happening. Like, normally we've got, like, something to save us from being a little bit too ridiculous, you know? You're ready to segue into something game-based. As now TusiN is thinking about giving it to us as they're both tracking each other.
Here we go. Hold on. Lee Sin hitting the blue buff. It's trying to go for a right hook, but...
Ruler just steals it away.
Ruler just stole it away because he saw that Clid was about to get hit with a haymaker by Blue Sentinel.
Hit with a haymaker, but
yeah,
from the bench.
Exactly.
Yeah, Set just diving on in. Love it.
So, Zoe did not like that joke. She is on fire.
Yes, well, so is Orange.
Orange thirsty. Oh, he's hungry.
Ooh, and
hear those
Ocean
sounds?
Rift. You were talking about honey fruits being
Really
the
good
new,
for Ornn, yeah.
It's more of an Ornn jungle thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You
It's an
normally
Ornn jungle
hunt
type.
down the honey fruits, but now there's more of them.
Yes.
On the Ocean Rift.
There
it's the
are
Ornn Rift.
There is lots of food, and you know, I think that this really is why Rumble went first item Morellonomicon, is he knew that the non-existent lifesteal on the enemy team, outside of the Blade of the Ruin King, and then the Conqueror on the Lee Sin.
I mean, Kellin's got a lot of healing on the carriage.
Okay. You know what?
Rascal has Grass with the Undying.
It's really for the honey fruits.
Yeah, it's probably for the honey fruits.
And I'm
And
glad
maybe
that-
Ocean Soul.
Maybe, yeah.
Because you better believe that in 45
No
seconds,
matter what,
KT is going to give away the Drake for free.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's really no other
Oh, wait, no,
choice.
Kuro's going to have to die first.
Hold
No,
on, hold on.
He spotted them out. It's
Alice.
okay. Yeah, man.
We're about to climax.
Is this the turnaround team fight?
Yeah, this is it. This is where KT... This is where everyone who has been channeling their hope...
Or BDD just manages to hit aiming with a trouble bubble through 5 walls, which was very, very impressive.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's time to see what the finale of this Spirit Bomb is actually going to be. Now, interestingly, Rascal upgraded Ludens instead of Blade of the Ruin King, which I think is a pretty big mistake.
I would say so too.
Here we
Maybe
go.
BDD spiking a little bit earlier.
Don't have any clue what KT is.
Oh, TusiN just flashing in to do nothing there with that Pulverize. It wasn't what they wanted. Double knockup there comes out of Rascal. He's buying space. And there goes the Dragon Soul. The Ocean is going to be helping them out so much. First kill goes down. Second one comes in as well as the Camille does basically nothing. And now it's the Ruler show. Able to dance after his opposition. Kuro has a lot of sticks in him. Sorry, bonO does. Is going to be able to escape, however. And Kuro is also going to be lucky enough to exit with his life. But they shouldn't exit with a game victory. This is 2 turrets away from a perfect game for Gen.G. And now they're looking for a Baron.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that initiation?
It was really like, it was like some guy in the pew stands up and says, I object.
Yeah.
And they're there to celebrate like their 25th year marriage.
Like, a little bit too late, my dude. Yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit like that.
Replies to someone's Facebook message.
I think you need to say it wrong. Like, mess up. Because, like, look, it's not exactly what you want. TusiN just didn't quite find it. Had to
This is the guy getting the courage to finally stand up.
Yeah, and that was based on trying to flash headbutt Pulve onto Ruler, and then Ruler moving out of position. So
this game
was made to look a little bit silly.
Completely over. So, we are indeed going to a game number 3. Drafts continue to be important. We can't all be T1.
Yep, the thing is, we've got to have a look at the timer, because, remember, 33.5 minutes.
It was your guess?
Yeah, and yours was 40 minutes and 3 seconds. Otherwise known as 39 minutes and 63 seconds.
Incorrect.
That was what you said.
That's absolutely not.
Any trues in the chat? You can let me know how right I am.
What?
Just ask.
Alice, you don't get to say that.
No, I don't. I'm too,
No,
too
you're
much of a
too old.
boomer.
Yeah,
I think so.
Oh, Alice, I wanted to ask, would you like to join me for the co-streaming of the North American League Championship Series?
Is there going to be as little action as there is in this particular game?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
NA
really?
is non-stop juice on cake. I don't even know where I was going with that one.
What is juice on cake?
I don't know.
Yeah, we are certainly getting into the wee hours, aren't we? I think that's how that one's going. But I watched Immortals vs. TSN, okay? So I know that things can be just this good. So I would be honored. I would be delighted to join you.
Well, first I need to make sure, are you of age? Are you over the age of 21?
I am officially a millennial. So yes.
All right, excellent, great. Just needed to confirm that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm on the border.
It's a date.
I'm between millennial and boomer, obviously.
Okay.
As KT trying to defend their Nexus turrets, but doing so pretty, oh no, TusiN taxis forward, but he's unable to find it. They do get a decent headbutt back there onto Clid, but he's going to survive for so long. And there's the Ornn doing so much work once again. Kellin keeping everyone alive And Kuro has to watch in horror from his fountain as his Nexus is obliterated. It was a race, and it was 29 minutes in game 1 for KT, but it is 26 minutes and 44 seconds in game 2 for Gen.G to snap back about the same amount of time as one game of our first series tonight has occurred in the first 2 of the second series.
Well, that was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, nothing happened, and then it was followed up by more nothing in that game. Largely to do with, trying to divvy out the MVP, and that was a difficult task. I'm not going to lie, because I think that most of the League of Legends that was relevant that game was done within the first 7 minutes, and then it was a case of KT not really having very many options. And thus...
So, every lane lost, and then nothing happened, and then there were no ganks, and then the team comps sort of did this.
Yeah.
And then
the one that was
one that was actually better.
Yeah, just crushed that one.
Just
so sort of like we stopped playing League of Legends and we started playing Fire Emblem, where you get the battle calculated beforehand.
There was that one action in bot lane though, where the Alistar escaped barely.
Yeah, that was
really, really close.
It was really close, but that was close to Gen.G just starting the snowball earlier.
Exactly, yeah.
And then unfortunately there was that one team fight, and KT found no other avenues back into the game. So what has resulted from this one is that you should never pick Rek'Sai unless you intend on doing something, maybe.
It was so hard to do anything though.
Yeah.
In that game, it really was.
I mean, what was KT's job this game? Like, if they were ever going to win.
This is one of the things where laners and lane manipulation relative to the jungler's path becomes increasingly more important when your lane dynamics are set up for failure. And honestly, it's pretty doomed. If you're going to handshake it like that, I actually really enjoy getting to see games like this because you can just see what happens if both team compositions are just basically sort of go even and then collide.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to a game number 3, and then after that, game 4.
Yeah, well, we're hoping for a tiebreaker after game number 3. It's never happened in the history of League of Legends unless you count games being remade and things like that. That's a possibility. We'll have to find out how KT and Gen.G are going to tie the series after our third and most likely final game. It will be coming up after this break, and I'm just looking forward to some better drafts, maybe a closer game, and one that wasn't doomed from too early on. Thank you so much, G-Sun, for the translation all day of the analyst tests, and we've put G-Sun to work today so far, going the entire distance with 6th game on the way. These were shorter games, but the last one certainly didn't feel that way.
You cursed us. This is your fault.
I mean, that's what Kasajun's saying, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Yeah, well, Clid's about to fall asleep by the looks of things. He's doing his best to keep himself awake.
I mean, I don't blame him. Do you know who I'm seeing later?
Who are you seeing later?
Do you know Phil?
Phil, the computer guy?
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah, I know Phil. I love Phil.
Yeah.
Have you signed his mouse pad?
No. Is that a thing?
Yeah. I think he's got a collection of stuff.
Whatever, I just haven't been invited, I guess. It's fine.
You'll get it this time.
It's fine. You know what? How about we don't break my mental state before the game?
What?
All right, thanks a lot.
If your mental state isn't broken after game 2 of this series, it is impervious to damage.
Phil doesn't like you.
He does. He told me he'd clean my PC for free.
What?
Yeah. I just have to bring it to him, which I haven't managed to do.
I got something to bring up to Phil later then, I guess.
I think so. I feel like I've really... sorry, Phil. Please, it wasn't me. This is not on record.
Alright, well, I'm going to clip this. And, okay, so, KT, Akali and Kalistar banned away.
Akalista taken away so far as the Ornn and the Aphelios have gone.
It's
Akalistowy?
No, it's Ornn.
Ah,
yes. So you missed out on that one. Yes.
J. Felion.
I like that. Oh, that's a very nice... Oh, look at the color down below. It's sort of like... Well, it's white, red, and blue. You know?
Yeah.
And on the other side, you got green, and something.
Green, blue, and orange hair, blue top.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this one. I just wanted to
there
point
wasn't
out,
really much of a...
I was just trying to distract you from the fact that Set just got B1
he did get B1.
So if you're a KT fan, I'm sorry.
Well, it happened every single game in our first series, and one of those teams won each time. So, you know. And the set won once, didn't he?
This is true.
Yep.
Gen.G responding, R1, R2, Misfortune, Lee Sin.
Yeah, not exactly much to be worried about there, but the Elise has made it through this time, and bonO is considering picking that one up. Certainly would be a matchup in the jungle that we've seen over and over again, but makes both of these squads sinners. Did have access to things like the Gragas if you would like it, and his Olaf was in fact left available as well. So bonO did decide that the Elise is going to be the priority. Kuro thinking about going back to the Rumble, and he's going to do so. BDD now with counter pick options. Could theoretically have a flex between the Rumble and the set, but it's likely that what we see right now are the champions that the players are going to be playing.
Gen.G covering Mordekaiser.
And that is going to be the chosen set counter. Noguri made it look exactly like that in Game 1 versus T1 earlier in today. In fact, a lot earlier today. But whether Rascal can do that to SoHwan is the question here. Next ban phase now upon us. Gen.G could choose to pinch the support position like they have done in the past. We'll see exactly where their minds are going to go. The Xayah is going to be taken off the board. So,
and I wonder if they're gonna play out the same sequence and actually go for the Lucian here.
Could be.
And then Lucian would be able to be flexed. And Lucian's actually pretty good against Rumble, and it is a skill matchup against Set. If Set ends up getting Bramble Vest and Ninja Tabai, and if he can grab Lucian once, it really spells disaster. So we'll see what the combo is going to end up being. Leona is going to now bite the dust.
Looks like Gen.G wants to pick a solo laner then, because I would have imagined that Leona could have been an option that they would be looking at. Might want to be getting a priority pick. Could even be the Lucian for themselves. It's 3 seconds on the clock, KT with a decision to make. And it will be the Nautilus taken off the ball. Now, where do they go? Do they take away something like the Thresh, Blitzcrank for the bottom lane, or do they lock in? Some sort of solo lane that they feel is safe enough to get here. Syndra available, something that we have seen blinded multiple times, and the Galio is going to be locked away. So, theoretically, a flex has largely been going into the support position from what I've been seeing, but could, of course, be mid lane as well. Was, of course, one of BDD's favorites.
Yeah. Well, it is a flex, mid and support. This isn't 10-3, where Galio did just receive some small change. Now Varus, okay, it's actually going to be Ezreal.
Are we getting a caster support? I want TusiN's Nami. I want the Ezreal Nami lane right now. Do it. I want it so bad.
No, you already know. Come on, Tom or Braum. Come on. We're in the LCK.
It'll be Tom Kench.
We're in the LCK. Alice, come on.
Give me the Nami. Don't be scared, TusiN. Oh, Yumi's okay. We'll take Yumi.
Okay. Now, this isn't the massive Yumi buff patch.
No, that's
which
coming.
Is 10-3,
yeah. So she's a little bit anemic, but still does what it says on the tin, and can certainly interrupt a, well, actually, picking Yumi into Mordekaiser is rough. It's very rough. That's Brad! All right. Kellin saying, well, I'm going to bring out an old favorite of mine myself, and picks up the Bard, is another notable pick into Yumi, because if she casts you and me, and then pops out of her current target, can be quite an easy target for the Cosmic Binding. But haven't seen a Brad for quite some time, and can certainly bully a lane alongside Misfortune. Excited to see how this goes. Yeah,
I'm personally actually really excited to see this, mostly because I've talked about Bard a lot on stream in recent months. About how strong of a champion he actually is. And also, the preseason changes indirectly buffed him, because he gets the XP from the Chines, solo XP was increased, which means when he leaves the AD carry alone, They actually get more benefit. Also, the changes to the jungle means that if he can apply pressure at all, it means that much more in slowing down the tempo and pacing of the enemy team. And then also, have you seen this champion's base damages? It doesn't make any sense.
Meep Slap does a hell of a lot of work. Does not make
any sense. Why can a support champion build tank, Deadmans, and rapid fire cannon with a support item, and then kill your carry?
In like 1.5 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, why can he teleport everyone around the map?
Why can a support comfortably take Electrocute and feel good about it, LS?
Well, I like that. I like mage supports. I am so happy that we are seeing one right now inside of the Brad.
Yeah, well, Kellin, we'll see whether he can put the Brad to work. As KT have also adjusted their roster just slightly. Sorry, not their roster, their composition just slightly. It's getting a little bit late, guys. But Gen.G, will they be able to put the cat on a book into the Death Realm and eliminate her is my big question. TusiN was one of our notable Yuumi players when she was very strong last year, but that might have just been because Deft was so good. And augmenting Deft was always a good idea. Now Aiming, going to need to do his best Deft impression on the Ezreal. Because of course Deft, probably our most notable Ezreal player remaining. In the LCK, we saw Bang leave, we saw Prey leave, and it was in the beginning Deft, Prey, and Bang that were just extraordinary. On the Ezreal pickup.
Let's see what is going to end up happening. As that is a interesting bard skin. Personally, I'm actually a very big fan of the snow bard.
Oh, it is adorable. Yeah, yeah. And
really
the Meeps are like little penguins.
Yeah,
oh,
little penguins.
So cute.
Yeah.
I do like this one. Did you play Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild?
No.
Do you, oh, dang it, dude. It reminds me of those, there were these little birds that were around the map, and they play like this cool music. And it was similar music to the Kakariko Village windmill music.
Okay. Which
was like one of the coolest tracks in Ocarina of Time. And he plays that and then tells you a riddle, and then you can solve it to get cool stuff. That's what it looks like to me. It was a long story for not that much information, but I hope someone got something out of it and agrees with me. So that's all I want, validation. There's TusiN doing some bopping. And remember, Brad, yeah, he hits hard, but also gets hit real hard, as Kuro has to flash very early in this game. Clid successful gank at 2 minutes. Not bad at all. So we've been seeing a lot of these Guardian Yuumis popping up, but we're back to the Comet for TusiN. Wanting to play this one a little bit more aggressively, and I like that in a poke lane alongside Ezreal. We'll be eating through a lot of Kellin's mana as he's putting down these shrines. Oh, that's the other thing that's amazing about the Winter Wonderland skin is that you you get the little cocoa.
Yeah.
The hot cocoa.
That is actually really nice. It really is. Alright, so far, SoHwan up there on the top lane seems to be doing really good, but we're going to get a little... Okay, we're getting a camera pan, so...
Looking at a dive, potentially.
And they are piling up a very large wave, but Rascal is pretty healthy.
And
so
Clid is in the area.
Yeah, Clid's in the area. They know that. Zed did not quite get the bounce that he was looking for, and so now this is going to be a little bit slow. He's going to E that minion just to get it. Doesn't want to miss out on the CS. Rascal might go... Well, Michael, he might end up actually trying to reset off of this wave. He might just go home. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. Or if he's just going to elect to actually stay and continue to play out this wave.
Ruler playing up against Aiming here aggressively. Trades about even. Kellin does bear the worst of that one. Zoomies from TusiN will help as both of the bottom lanes with a fair bit of sustain available to them in very different ways. The Shrine's going to be helping. Bit of a recall coming through from Ruler as the bottom lanes are basically even.
Well, missed out on that E.
Yeah, couldn't
Didn't
break
quite have
the face.
Spacing, yep. But, I mean, he's doing a fantastic job. He is so far ahead in the CS department. And again, this is one of those dynamics where Brad Galio, Mordekaiser, all heavy amounts of magic damage. And also, there is so much CC on this team that Hex Shrinker into Mercury Treads would be really good itemization, and then from there go into Trinity Force and then round it out with Dead Man's Plate. That's going to be a nice trade.
That's a huge combo from SoHwan, but Rascal utilizes the W quite nicely. Sorry, back to your point.
That's pretty much it. You know.
All right.
You know what? So ever since I thought of this when Set was released, okay? Because we're having a little bit of a lull state. Everyone's gonna recall. We're gonna go back. We're gonna buy our items. So I get a little bit of a downtime. I just want to bring you in on this. So
it's weird because downtime is not something that we've had very much this series.
We're wasting time. Come on. All right, listen. So we're on limited time. We're on borrowed time. There's always something to talk about. But
there's always action.
With the release of Aphelios and having the 2 buttons. I thought when Set was released, like his left punch, right punch, wouldn't it be really cool if there was like an Eddie Gordo character? Where like a Q was like a left punch, W is right punch. E is like a kick.
And so it's just playing a boxing game?
Yes.
And you actually play the game with a Wiimote?
No.
No, you don't want to do that?
No.
Okay, maybe I
just your QWER is 4 abilities, sort of like Udyr. And you skill them and they just do different stuff. And then he's constantly in motion. You know what I mean?
That'd actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, like, you ever play Tekken?
Well, like, maybe QWER could represent his limbs.
That's what I just said.
Oh, right, so it's just actually arm, leg.
Arm, leg.
Okay, sorry. That actually sounds to me...
Or you could do arm, leg, and then a grapple.
Do you remember that game, like, I think it was a browser game? Oh, no, Mr. Octopus.
What's that?
It's where you play this game as an octopus, and you have to control each of his tentacles, and you have to just walk around and achieve menial tasks.
Okay, I like
that. Octodad's the game.
All right, when did that come out? 1980?
Yeah, something like that. No. This is out on Steam. It was out like, I don't know, 2 years ago.
Do you know that a lot of games that used to be free to play in web browsers are now only available on Steam for money?
Really?
Yeah, I felt really sad.
That is really sad.
Oh.
Well, Rascal taking the worst of that one, but he can turn it around to even out the trade. It's weird. I feel like Mordekaiser's trade patterns are similar to like a ranged champion. Because the melee goes in, does their buttons and their combo, and then Mordekaiser's time to shine is after that. In a weird way.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely strange. Okay, SoHwan just used his W. So there would be a trade window opportunity that Rascal could have gone for. A little bit surprising. I mean, Rascal is down 30 CS.
Yeah, this is a disaster.
We see that SoHwan's being really greedy. He went for the Phage, which is definitely a bit surprising.
Yeah, you want him to build magic resist.
I wanted him. Yeah, I wanted him to get magic resist and also just get the Merc Treads really fast so that you'd have some mobility. The Phage, yes, it gives you the MS. Yes, it lets you stick, but the recipe components for it are basically all the stats that you're getting. You're getting 5 more AD, you're getting 50 more HP, and then you're getting the Rage passive. But if you just had Tier 1 boots, you're basically almost always perma-raged.
Yeah.
And you can allocate gold into other items, which is another cool feature about Trinity Force set that Black Cleaver set doesn't have. But I'm getting a little worried, Atlas. I'm beginning to think that SoHwan here, with 4 AP champions, or well, 3.5.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to build a Black Cleaver. And honestly, I'm getting a little nervous.
I don't think it's going to happen. Well, Death Realm's come out here as we've got the Showstopper to fly on forward in response. They're going to come out of the Death Realm, and there's going to be 2 junglers present as Clid is going to immediately get cocooned. But the kickback lands, and the flash forward from Rascal is going to grab in the first blood, and second immediately to follow as BDD had joined the party. That was a teleport, no heroic entrance required as Kuro, he rotates just a little too late to this one.
And, yeah, it truly is cursed as
oh, God.
The set.
Just saw the Kindle Gem.
Yeah. Well.
Wow.
You know, I can't feel bad for players that don't do a lot of research. Okay? Yeah. It becomes really easy. Now, Korea is very up in the air with Trinity Force and Black Cleaver. Like, as we saw earlier,
I mean, it was only Noguri that decided
Noguri did the Trinity Force, but there's so many players on the ladder that are doing Trinity Force and Black Cleaver. And if you look really close at both of them, it becomes pretty apparent that Trinity Force would just be better.
I mean, I can just have a look right now as we have a look at this replay. With Rascal getting that big old flash in.
Set tries to go for the W, and then a really nice Q flash there by Rascal, as Elise was then also locked up.
Well, okay.
Oh, here's the pro view, by the way. It looks like hell.
Oh yeah, it is cool in that skin. Okay. I like it a lot.
Why?
Nice.
Okay. Very nice.
So, having a look here, we've got some really interesting statistics based on build win rates.
Okay.
Trinity Force with the Tiamat, almost the exact build that Noguri went for, is currently sitting at a 62.2% win rate.
Okay.
If those 4 items have been completed. Second build that we did see was the Black Cleaver into, I believe, mostly tank items.
Yeah.
And that's at a 60.88% win rate.
Okay.
But the highest win rate build... All right, wait a second. All right, so the first build that I was talking about, 62%, was building Tiamat first and then finishing the Trinity Force.
Okay.
But the highest win rate build is Trinity Force into Titanic into Steric Sketch.
Okay.
That's highest win rate. Followed by Black Cleaver into Titanic into Sterics.
Okay. All right.
That's apparently 64% win rate though. So
there you go.
That's a Black Cleaver. Seems like people haven't got the memo, but they're still playing well, so they're winning. I don't know. I felt like I wasted a lot of time just going over.
Well, I mean, there's really not too much going on though inside of the game, so I feel like
it's
itemization like this is actually interesting. It's not every day that you get to actually talk about stuff like this.
Well, Kuro might be in trouble as Clid, I believe, a minion blocked his Q. So Kuro's going to be absolutely fine. Bottom side of the map, bonO did pay a visit, but Ruler and Kellin has vacated. Naming just going to try and find himself a recall. He's behind by a little bit. A couple of Doran's Blades picked up by Ruler just to try and make sure that they can win the lane as hard as possible. And we'll see when Kellin goes for a little bit of a journey to find more of these chimes around the map. You can see there's a couple in his own jungle. There's a dance forward. Big Death's Grasp as the Death Realm once again comes forward. Showstopper comes down. SoHwan surviving for the moment. And there the W comes in, the Haymaker to get the work done. But Rascal not dead yet. Oh, the flash to get out of the way of the onslaught. And 4 KT members are here. And that is going to mean the tidy up of Rascal.
And now bonO, I mean, he has the Rift Herald. It doesn't seem like... Oh, no, okay. He did end up summoning it. He summoned it a little bit late. It still will summon. How does she charge from that distance?
She just does it point blank and hits nothing because the Tempered Fate is there. Love the denial, and she's not even going to get the charge. It's just not happening. That was immune. Today I learned that Rift Herald is immune to Tempered Fate, which I didn't actually know. Caster, by the way. Shelly will be taken down. Still a lot of plates we're giving it.
Lots of plates were picked up. Rumble almost has the Leandri's Torment. Ezreal almost has the Monomune.
Yep, still looking for that 2-item spike though. So not quite there just yet. Wanting to complete the Monomune, and I believe it's Trinity Force, judging by the long sword sitting there. But I could be mistaken. Given lethal tempo has been picked up, what is your favorite rune on Ezreal these days now that there's no Klepto?
Oh man, I guess
I feel really lost playing Ezreal.
Yeah,
these days.
it is really lost. I feel like honestly it's Conqueror or it's Omnistone.
Yeah.
And you try to RNG those Dark Harvest stacks to amplify all the runes.
Oh yeah.
So that's you know.
Is there a way that you can manipulate that? I know the AI on Omnistone got a little bit better.
Omnistone is so close to being so good.
Yeah.
It is honestly one of the best ideas that Riot, I feel, has put out in recent months.
I think it's really cool.
It's so close.
It's certainly unique, but yeah, I'm not sure whether it's necessarily good just yet. Maybe things just need to upgrade just a little. But for champions like Ezreal, where it just doesn't feel like there's
not
that
a real
keystone
rune
that feels good for him.
And that's usually when runes like Spellbook and Omnistone or Kleptomancy, that's when they would typically end up coming in.
Yeah. It feels, yeah, I guess Ezreal's weird because he feels like he can use every keystone, which is why Omnistone is one that feels decent. It's just, as a rune, just in general, it's not enough to just take one of the runes that you'd prefer. Too many of them don't feel so great.
The thing that's really worrisome here, though, is that set with the Black Cleaver, and again, I talked about this in the T1 versus Dom1 series, I'll say it again.
Well, another death realm. Haymaker does come in. We're trying to do battle, but the passive is doing so much work here onto SoHwan. Does have a null magic mantle, but otherwise it's just not enough. That W really helping out here as Showstopper does come in. Will he have a Haymaker back in time? He gets it in the end, and the Death's Grasp not enough. BDD looking to tidy this one up. Protobelt and gets a very short snare, but the Haymaker is in. Doesn't do damage, but keeps him alive for a little bit longer as he gets the Q movement speed. Another round. Oh my god, the grit did so much work, but it wasn't enough in the end. Still able to win the 1v1. I'd still call worth in all chat.
Yeah. Ended up actually bringing down Mord right there, which was really nice, and also wasted a lot of BDD's time as well. And so right now the gold score at the top is pretty even, but the real pressure is the dragons that are building up. Now, it's only Cloud Dragon. Now, I'm not actually totally sure how this is going to work on BDD if he has the Cloud Soul. Does he R and land and it just fades?
I think he R's and lands, and then by the time he's landed, most likely there isn't any movement speed left.
And then MF stands still.
Yeah, no, MF is probably one of the worst possible. Yumi also garbage, unless you're by yourself.
Yeah, this is definitely
Ezreal not too bad.
Ezreal
I don't know what happens to Elise.
Set is good.
Elise can just spam it, I guess, and book it around the map. I don't know.
And
don't know how that works.
Rumble. All right, so let's take a look at this. Set actually starts this off by eating an entire combo. There's a really good grit stack right there. Punching as much as he possibly can. The minions even get involved in this. Rascal doesn't quite fully sidestep it. Gets superplexed. And then right there, just not quite able to finish off SoHwan. Unfortunately, with the way that he played it, Galio showed up, though, to quickly avenge him.
Really good sidestepping and making sure that he's on top of Mordekaiser's body so the Qs are really hard to land. No obliteration to be really gained. I think there are only, you know, 1 or 2 Qs that landed in that entire 1v1. So really cleanly done as another Tempered Fate to deny Shirley. And now, speaking of denying things, KT looking to try and deny one more step towards the Cloud Soul. Instead, looking to try and start a fight. No more Taunt available. It's going to be on cooldown for the next little while, but KT just playing around this and will move down to try and get themselves their first Drake of the game. If they get 4 Cloud Drakes, that's a hell of a lot of movement speed.
That is a lot of movement speed, but...
And, sorry, ultimate cooldown.
And,
especially.
Yeah, the ultimate cooldown, 40% on it. I mean, for Ezreal, that's really big. For Yumi, it's going to be really big as well.
For Elise, means nothing.
Well...
SoHwan can throw people around a lot, though.
He can superflex a lot, yeah.
It's basically a juggler. And Kuro can just line up equalizers.
Oh, man. Do they know?
Oh. Clid, he's certainly got a bit surprised there. Good kickback for some attempted disengage as True Shot Barrage is going to be flashed. Don't know whether Clid needed to, but he's going to play it safe. As our Safeguard going to be necessary, but doesn't have any wards available. Oh no, he has a minion wave! And Kuro has to use the ult in order to lock him down. Thought for 1 second that Clid was going to survive, but the rest of Gen.G aren't wasting their time. Aiming, doing what he can, but TusiN chose to try and stun up the Galio instead of the 3 people thwacking on the turret. That means that that outer is going to go down.
And bonO and Kuro are on the dragon. So at least going to be able to pick it up, repel over.
Flash out of the Tempered Fate as SoHwan is going to get taunted. Death's Grasp going to bring him back. That obliterate did land as the Death Realm utilized here from Rascal, but he knows what happens in this particular timeline. This story has been solved, but he comes out of the Death Realm into a bullet time. and therefore the timeline was sorted out by Ruler. So Gen.G successful here, but they do lose the Drake, which means they're unable to accelerate towards the Dragon Soul as quickly as they otherwise would, as this is the surprise attack onto Clid.
Well, Superplex right down into the ground. A little bit surprising. I thought that they had chained the Cocoon correctly. Ended up not being the case. Had to use the equalizer here to finish him off. Lee was not happy about that. The anti-synergy right here. SoHwan flashes away, gets pulled by the grasp, and then bonO is like, no, do not lead them over here. Still keeps trying to do those golems. He's just trying to farm, man.
Yeah. I do like the idea of ulting the set so that he can't kill your backline, but would have been possibly easier to get a second kill if Rascal had have held on to it, but hindsight, those things. Gen.G with control of the map at this stage, trying to get deep vision down, trying to play around where this Baron is, but it's 20 minutes into the game. Baron is very new and is pretty scary. He's aiming, dives on top of a control ward, and BDD will have ample time to get out of the way with help of the Justice Punch. 2-item spike completed here for aiming though. He's got his Trinity Force and his Mana Immune. Not quite a Mirror Mana just yet. Boots of Lucidity also picked up as see what else he's going to be building. Does sort of show that he's not going to be building too much more cooldown reduction for the rest of his build as Kellin, Tempered Fate comes in, but it's not going to be enough to cancel out the last chapter. There's the flash forward. Kellin's going to get tagged, but not going to get slowed, of course. No Iceborne Gauntlet. Still in trouble. Honey Fruit not going to slow anyone down. And KT can't find their picks.
And you can hear lots of pings actually going off from the summoners that just ended up getting used. And now KT, they're looking to raise this mid-tier 1 turret.
Remember, based on the timeline, Game 2 is over in 5 minutes.
Yes.
So this game has been well and truly extended already. And it's not likely that it's going to be finishing in 8 either, which is the timeline for game number 1. So really feeling like both of these teams are feeling the pressure, as it is, of course, match point in their first set of the season.
I see what you did there.
It was...
yeah. That was very funny.
Thanks.
You made an extremely
That was
funny
an
joke.
extraordinarily intentional pun, and I want you to know that.
Okay.
Because it's not like we've referred to games as sets before in the past.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely not. We don't do that.
I chose to do that
yeah,
because
fine.
of the hilarious...
Sure, yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, cool. Just wanted to make sure that you knew that.
Yeah, awesome. Love
Thanks,
it.
man.
Yeah, no problem.
That's for everyone at home as well.
Yeah, I always got your back on this.
Just like myself sometimes. Okay, KT, can they make a move? Because right now Gen.G has so much control of the top side of the map. KT with some vision available in the river on bottom side, but that's looking for a Cloud Drake that's going to be available in just over a minute. A possibility. Looks like Gen.G aren't really concerned too much with Dragon Soul. They're wanting to try and opt into some sort of Baron play. And of course, this is a team that does have the Mordekaiser, so Barons are much more easy to secure.
Yes.
And the fact that you can just put bonO in the Death Realm. Rascal going for a pretty aggressive build here, with what looks like Nash's Tooth coming in as second item instead of third. Often Rylai's is picked up first alongside Leandri's to make sure that you're a bit more battle ready with a bit more health.
Yeah, you have more health. You also have the slow, which then amplifies the burn.
Yep.
From 4.5 to 7.5%. SoHwan just trying to shove out this wave as fast as possible. Also going Deadman's as his third item.
Yeah, this is exactly the build that oh my goodness, I'm blanking. It was picked up in our earlier series by Roach. And he had the Aftershock, which I actually thought paired a little bit better with this style of build.
Yes.
If you're going to go tanky, you may as well be an Initiator and a Frontline. And so go for something that's a little bit more tanky, involving a Gargoyle Stoneplate, something like that. SoHwan's going a little bit more on the battle side with his Conqueror. Gen.G just grouping up, staying as a team, but this gold lead has not changed for a very long time. KT,
they can just do Baron. What?
We're trading Cloud Drake, second Cloud, for a Baron. Let's get to that area. Remember, Yuumi has changed, cannot join with a friend on a teleport anymore. So it's not like they can get 3 people there instantly, but
I think if they magical portal on, you see to the left of the Bard portal.
Yeah, got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
If you tunnel through that,
thingy,
yes,
yeah.
they were all standing on mid. Tunnel through that for speed, go onto the Baron immediately, and then Bard ultimate the incoming enemy team, and then Bard portal out of the Baron pit. All stand at the back of the Baron pit. Mordekaiser use R if somehow Elise gets over there.
Their ability to deny anyone trying to take a Baron from them
they have
is
so
pretty
many
damn
tools,
high.
right?
Yeah.
So Mordekaiser with the Leandries and just everything. I'm pretty sure they can sneak it and get out. That would have been a, what, 24-minute Baron? The items that they have the Leandry's Torment at that point in time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The only way that KT would have stolen that is with a True Shot Barrage. If Gen.G played it.
And the other thing is, worst case scenario, let's say that SoHwan and Kuro both use teleport to get over there. Now, I'll be honest, actually, I did not check, or, well,
Aiming's teleport wasn't available at the time.
I can't see Kuro's teleport because of my eyesight.
Using
right now.
that old excuse again. Okay.
But even if they teleport...
Oh, okay. Suplex is going to come in like you like to call it, but Rascal's going to flash the wall. bonO comes in, realizes that he's not going to be able to 1v1, was a little bit ahead of his team.
What?
As BDD teleports to the bottom lane because he loves minions. Red dot syndrome. But he is in range of a heroic entrance if he would like to pay a visit to his team. Level 14, not quite with the maximum range, but it's still pretty long at rank 2. And now Gen.G are looking for a fight. Tempered Fate sidestepped.
Oh, Galio!
Trying to fight it. That's a big 2-man taunt into the back line. And KT have already lost their jungler. Flash is being utilized everywhere as Ruler is on a rampage. TusiN is a cat on a book without a friend, and that is one that ain't winning any team fights anytime soon. And Gen.G are going to say, you guys can have your 2 members. We are going to dive onto the Baron and win this game.
And so I think that that's probably going to be all that she wrote. It's going to be the Baron buff picked up by Gen.G. And also the mid turret taking quite a hefty amount of damage.
Is there a world where Gen.G, instead of actually going for the Baron, could have just won the game? No, I think that time is a little bit too low. It is still 26 minutes into the game. I might be eating my words. I mean, there's still 2 minutes and Gen.G can win in the same time frame that KT were able to take game 1. However, still not over just yet. And this is by no means the same game that game 2 was. It's getting there. It's not quite that all she wrote just yet. But with the Baron buff and Gen.G in still relative control, looking very comfortable. Let's have a look at this fight once again. BDD just finding the right flank. Flash
I mean,
pretty good.
He just walked up slowly to them and W.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did right there.
And he flashed.
Well, I mean,
he flashed W
because
he can't W flash anymore. Which is a bit sad. Makes it a bit projected.
Galio is grounded while casting.
Yes.
And Ruler obviously going completely bloodthirsty. I'm not talking about the bloodthirster.
Oh, look at us with our accidental puns today.
Yeah.
Doing really well. Love
unintentional
it.
But, you know.
Once again,
not
highest win rate build. Love it, love it.
Yep.
A slave to the OPGG is Rascal going to get caught out of position. Death Realm going to be there. Whoever's in there, no, it's going to be aiming. He QSS's it immediately. And that is a dead Mordekaiser. But the rest of the team is pushing in. I swear BDD is like almost not a member of Gen.G anymore. He's been on his own so long. But then decides to win a team fight, and then you guys will be okay, right? And then continues pushing a side lane.
One inhibitor going to be picked up. And also quite a bit of chip damage on that top tier 3. 40 seconds until the next Cloud Dragon. Now this isn't one that necessarily does anything. We're still ways away from the Cloud Soul. Now Rascal has teleport.
Wow. Clid going for an aggressive move. Goes golden to try and hold the blushes, but isn't quite able to. Tempered Fate lands onto bonO. The bullet time does absolutely nothing, and that was a lot of buttons pressed, but not a lot of outcome. And now SoHwan trying to do his best BDD impression on BDD.
Where is Mordekaiser? He has TP.
He's still booking it. SoHwan's got the dead man's play. He's running pretty quick. Still has Q available to him as well if he wants to run even faster.
Interesting.
Can he actually find it onto anyone is the question. Cosmic Binding connect.
Mord is not staying on the fountain. He's actually just running to the minion wave down in bottom. So he won't have the home guard bonus in the event that his team would need him, but instead they're actually just going to raise the top inhibitor turret as well. They're going to get out of there via the magical portal.
Yeah, take a journey. 27 seconds on this Baron, but already a very successful one, close to a 2,000 gold Baron power play. That is going to spell a 5.5k gold lead here for Gen.G. 7 turrets to 2. KT well and truly on the back foot, but they might be able to get to their third Cloud Drake.
I think it's very cute. They ping to use the Bard portal.
Oh yeah?
I watched them use it, yeah.
Oh, that's
It
good.
was really good on the minimap.
That
That was
is good.
very nice, yeah.
Well, Gen.G are going to deny any hopes for a Dragon Soul in the next Drake. For KT, by denying that one here. They can grab it themselves, of course. Now Rascal back from the Death Chamber and is now on the bottom side trying to take the last remaining inhibitor. Still yet to get through this inner turret. It's SoHwan getting closed in on, but Kuro is going to be there to try and help him.
I don't know what SoHwan is. Well, the turret lived.
Yeah, he's stepping on forward. Bullet time cancelled as there's the suplex that you were talking about. Rascal trying to continue this fight. SoHwan does do a lot of work and goes golden as well to keep himself alive and not going to find the taunt. BDD does still find the kill. Kellin has to get out of there, down to 200 health. There's now BDD in trouble. Clid's trying to win the game by himself. Two-man taunt comes in. Ruler's still there with a fair bit of damage.
Aiming?
What the heck? Aiming doing his general aiming thing, and that's going to be a couple of kills, and Gen.G have just found themselves the game.
Well, Clid can actually kill bonO. Oh, he can WR. Huh?
I mean, he can kill the next turrets as well. Yeah, that's the
There's the
cute.
WR.
And just does it by himself. Waits for the rest of his team to get tantalizingly close before solo killing the Spider Lady. But bonO didn't have many options there. And the Nexus is going to be taken down. Gen.G do manage to rewrite the script after game 1. 2 games in a row. But KT with a dominant game 1 certainly made things look a little bit worrisome.
Yeah.
But Gen.G able to do it much like T1 did in their first game today.
And so, game number 2 was obviously, it was something. It was what?
I'm looking at this MVP selection wondering what the heck to do, by the way.
Well, you know what? One thing decided it for me. It was when Galio slowly walked up behind them and W'd.
Well. Yeah, I guess.
Because that actually, that's what blew open the game.
It did. I mean, that was the one team fight that made it impossible.
If he doesn't get MVP because Ruler flashed forward and autoed after he did that.
I mean, yeah, this is the thing, that bottom lane team fight,
this election would be rigged, if that would be the case.
And also Rascal losing that 1v1 against SoHwan. I couldn't give it to him for it.
Yeah, you can't.
You know?
You
Not
can't
after
do that. And then we can't honestly give it to Bard. The most impressive thing about Bard this game was the denials. And so now, Rift Heralds, they probably are going to have some PTSD.
Yeah.
In our next,
Yeah, Shelly and Shirley both were unable to do anything.
Not going back to the void happy, I'll tell you that.
And you know what happens when you just don't feel like you have much of a function, you know? Like,
oh, I know.
Yeah, lack of purpose.
Yeah.
Shelly and Shirley now talking to their therapists about it.
Who is their therapist, do you think? Oh, it's probably the Academy Kaisa skin, which probably is coming at some point. Kaisa's from the void, you know?
It might be Headmistress Fiora as well.
Ooh.
I'm sure she could have a conversation with them.
You mean Headmistress Firework? I tried to go.
I like how you ruined that. However, you still did it correctly via ruining it. Which I think sort of sums up our entire first day here at Spring 2020 LCK. Oh my goodness, it certainly went the distance. I'm not entirely sure what time it is. It's very close to midnight. Okay, that's probably why we're going a little bit batty. And you know what? We get to do it all again tomorrow.
My night's not even done.
Are you going home to, like, co-stream something?
I gotta stream. Just for a little bit. My night's not over.
Well, I mean...
Well, I'm not actually going home. I'm staying at a hotel right next to Little Park.
Yeah, which is very, very good. Because if you had to take an hour-and-a-half train ride, then go home, then
no, the
stream...
trains are closed.
All right, so an hour-and-a-half taxi.
I'd pay a $50 taxi.
Yeah. They go home and stream
to go home
in like an hour and a half.
Yeah. And then
I
I would have
go
to
sleep for like 45 minutes. Wake up to take the train back to work.
Exactly. See?
Oh, baby.
That's what I'm excited
sounds
about.
healthy.
Yeah, I know it does.
Oh,
I know it does.
I'm not going to make fun of you for any bags under your eyes ever again.
Thank you.
I promise.
I do appreciate that.
Not very nice.
Galio getting that taunt right there, doing the Q. Watch aiming here in the follow-up. So you can understand that maybe he's just thinking that it's do or die. I feel like he panics with the Arcane Shift. QSS even a little bit slow.
Oh.
Honestly,
no,
he can...
So he was trying to kill Kellin and then kill Ruler immediately afterwards, and then
he can
slightly
kill
messed
them,
it up.
but the execution there is off, but still, Lee Sin is still going to accomplish everything that he's doing.
True.
So...
Sometimes you see red.
Yeah. So, the Sith won today. Yeah. Red did win.
They did. Although I liked how KT did it in Game 1. This didn't feel as good, but I do like seeing B2D back on a more facilitatory mid laner. He was playing a lot of side lane Galio, but he was there when he needed to be and accomplished what he needed to, especially with that teleport play into the mid lane. 8,000 damage. I'm still going to award him the MVP for this game because he got what his champion was supposed to do done perfect.
Yes.
Basically. And everything sort of just worked like clockwork.
Yeah.
Ruler also played very well. I mean, dominated his lane entirely, so is another option there. However, not exactly something that Ruler doesn't do every game. So sometimes maybe we're a little bit jaded.
I am extremely excited to hear what they have to say, especially about game number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything to say about game number 2?
I think there's a lot to say.
Did game number 2 happen?
Is Echo in the death row?
That's what I thought. I mean, there was a Mordekaiser in the last game. There wasn't an Echo. And maybe that makes a time continuum issue. Something like that.
I like that.
Yeah. We're
I
gonna
have a question.
What's that?
Here we go.
All right,
Player of the
BDD's
game.
going to pick it up.
It is going to be
Nicely
BDD.
done.
I'll save my question.
We've already discussed BDD and why he deserves the MVP.
Okay,
You can
sure.
have your question.
Okay,
it's fine.
here
We're
we
going
go.
to be getting into
What
an
if
MVP
Silas
interview relatively
steals
quickly.
Mordekaiser's ultimate, and then Mordekaiser ults someone, and that's Silas's friend, and then Silas ults someone to try to go to the Death Realm, but then Silas's Death Realm is not Mordekaiser's Death Realm, and they're different Death Realms, and Silas feels like he lied. And what if one of those champions is Zillion, and the other one is Echo? They both use their ultimate, and nothing happens. What's going on there? Yeah, I'll see you in the Reddit comments. Don't give me that face. You know I'm right.
If Mordekaiser QSS's to get out of a Death Realm that he's put in via Silas,
Yes.
and then puts the Silas back into a Death Realm, where do they go? Is it the same one?
Ooh. What if Mordekaiser R's a Tom Kench, and then the Tom Kench eats the Mordekaiser inside of the Death Realm? And then Tom Kench QS.
Does that mean that Tom Kench's belly is in fact the Death Realm? Whoa.
These are the important questions
I
here.
am losing my mind.
Now,
congratulations to BDD and congratulations to Gen.G. An absolutely great comeback. Not necessarily the cleanest in game number 1. They certainly needed to tidy that up, but game 2 was basically a done deal from the beginning, and game 3 also felt like it was all she wrote pretty early on as well. So Gen.G, business as usual, try and do our best to ignore game 1. But, you know, 26-minute win, and then what was this? About a 30-minute win.
Yeah.
Not too bad here from Gen.G, and showing a lot of different gears as well with the compositions that they've ran here today. I like the Taric and the Kalista, something that Kellin and Ruler have been practicing quite a lot, and also shows that, you know, that's going to involve a lot more banning to be done by our opponents. But we are going to go to an interview, and I believe it's going to be Clid and BDD.
네,
So
젠지가
they're standing by with Mina
경기를
Kim, and here's G-Sun for some translation.
오늘 승리의 주역이죠.
Thank you very much, guys. This is TusiN with translation, and we'll be hearing from Clid, BDD, the main characters of today's Gen.G series.
자, 클리 선수, BDD 선수.
Clid, BDD, congratulations.
많은 분들이 젠지에게
Well, Gen.G
엄청난 기대를
was the
건
team
만큼
with
오늘 첫 번째
the
경기가
highest
좀 부담스러울
hopes
것 같아요.
for this split, so maybe you guys were feeling a bit of a pressure, right? This is my first match at this year's LCK and also in the new team, so I'm not really satisfied with my performance today. I have to work harder. Game 2 and 3 was going on the Gen.G side, but game number 1, yeah, it was a bit of a shame, right?
저희가 약간
So
라인전도
we
세고 되게 약간
got the
다들
picks
보는 각이
with
많아서
strong laning
게임
phase,
분위기가 되게 편한데 약간
and
저희가
we also have a very good
우리만 안 하면은
insight in
이긴다는
game.
느낌으로 얘기를 계속 했던 것 같아요.
So we were keep
네,
communicating
요즘에
that we
뭐
shouldn't just
이런
go
얘기가
in
나올
too
정도로
much.
기적을 만들어낼 만한
And
팀이다라는 얘기가
fans are really
있어요.
excited
실제로
to see the
호흡이
miracle
잘
from the
맞고 있나요,
miracle
팀이?
BDD, Rascal, and Clid.
좋은
How's the
것도 있고
teamwork
진짜
going?
점차점차 점점 좋아질 가능성도
It's
있기 때문에
good already, but
선수들-
I'm
선수들끼리
seeing a lot of potential,
같이 피드백을
a lot of
해서
room to
잘하고
improve.
있어서
I think we can
발전
still get
가능성이
better.
엄청 높은 것 같아요.
So we have a very high
기다려보도록
potential
하겠습니다.
currently.
두 번째 경기가 사실상 굉장히 압도적으로 흘러갔음에도 불구하고
Game 2 was a little bit one-sided. However, Gen.G seemed to be slowing down in terms of
일단
macro.
저희가 약간 되게 흥분 약간 안 하고
We
그냥 할 수 있는
try
거
not to get too excited in game.
네, 팀적으로 좀 우리 이 경기 확실히 가져가자 하는
So
그런
you guys
얘기가
wanted to
있었나
secure the
보네요.
win, right?
음악전 경기가 확실히 욕심나는
You
경기이기도
guys
하죠.
really wanted
자,
to
그리고
get
클리드
the
선수
win
오늘
on your
3
first
리신
match.
꺼내셨는데
And Clid, you were
앞에도
playing
top 리신이
Lee
나왔었어요. 그래서
the entire day, so we were watching 6 Lee Sin game in total.
리신 자체가 챔피언이 좀 약간
Lee
유동성에서도
Sin
엄청
has a
좋고
very high
그리고
mobility,
디펜스 밸런스 잡거나
and
에이스
it's a
잡을
really
때도
good champ to
기도하다
maintain
보니까
balance
그래서
in
좀
the entire
선호하시는
composition. So
선수들은
there
계속
are a lot of
나오려고 하는 것 같아요.
players that prefer Lee Sin, so that's why we're seeing Lee Sin so often. But why is no one banning it out?
하는 분마다 약간 좀 난이도에
Because
따른
Lee Sin
그
has
그런 거
a bit of a
갈리기 때문에
requires a
아마
bit
그런
of a
것마저도 호불호가
mechanical
가는
level to kind of use it in competitive games.
리신이다 보니까 첫
Well,
번째
Lee Sin is one
경기에서
of your
자존심이 좀
main
상해질
champion,
것 같아요.
so
두 번째 경기부터는 조금 전략을
I
바꿔가는
guess you were a little bit
있었나요?
sad losing
첫
that
번째
game number
경기
1,
같은
right?
경우는 제가 너무 정신을 놓고 게임한
Well,
것
game 1,
같아가지고
I think I was not
제
really
자신
concentrating in
자체한테도
game,
실망을 했단
so
말이에요.
I was
그래서 두 번째
disappointed
전부터 잡고
to myself.
빡세겠다
So
해가지고 좀
starting in
더
game number 2, I wanted to
네,
go
그렇게
all
클린
in.
선수와 BD 선수의 호흡도
in
정말
game.
좋았는데요. BD 선수는 이제 세 번째 경기에서
BDD.
갈리오를 픽하셨어요. 팀적으로
그
많이 준비하셨던
Game on
픽이거든요.
Galio,
네,
mid lane was that prepared in
되게 약간
advance.
조합 맞춰서 쓰면은 나쁘지 않은
Galio is a
플레이라고
really
생각했던
good
것 같아요.
champion to
그러면
kind of balance out
조금
the damage
조합에서
composition.
좋을까요? 갈리오가 요즘 메타에서.
What's the best composition for Galio?
그냥 약간 뭐 제가 궁을 덮으면은 약간 시너지가
Well,
날 수 있는 챔프들
in a
위주로
situation where I
하면
can
좋은
get
것
a lot of synergy
네,
when I
알겠습니다. 자,
land down with my
갈리오로
ultimate.
뒤에서 엄청난 이니시를 걸었던
So we
장면이
have
있는데요.
to watch
저희
this
BD
highlight
활약이
with your
있었던 장면을
awesome
화면으로
flank
보면서 얘기
coming in
들어볼게요.
clutch.
자, 이제 포지션을 어떻게 잡고
How
있었는지
did
미리
you
계획하셨던
get the
아, 이때
position?
아마도
Did you plan this in advance?
모데카이저가 용 뒤로 이렇게 돌아가다가 물린
Well,
상태인데
I remember Rascal was a little bit caught near the dragon pit, so I TP'd in to help him. And then I saw the opponents kind of seizing into the mid lane, so I was able to get the flank position.
깔끔하게 풀어간 면이 있었어요. 젠지가 앞으로도 더 좋은
So
합을
Gen.G,
보여줄 거라는 예상이 되는
A lot of
그런
fans are looking forward to seeing
그리고
more
BD
and
선수
more
살이 굉장히 많이 빠진 것
teamwork.
같은데
And
젠지
BDD, I guess you
PT가
lost a
엄청나다는
lot
얘기가
of weight.
있거든요.
And
좀
we heard
얘기 좀
a lot of
들려주세요.
stories about
어떤지.
Gen.G's PT.
일단은 저도 이렇게 운동을 오래 할 줄 몰랐는데
I
약간
also did not
저희
expect to
가르쳐주는
work out
선생님이
this
너무
much,
재밌게
but our
해주셔가지고
trainer,
약간 되게
he's a really
계속 하고
fun
있는 것
guy.
같아요.
He's really good at teaching us, so
일각에서는
we are
이런
enjoying
얘기가
this
있습니다.
workout
클리드
session.
선수와 비교를
So people are
쉽게 팬분들이 하셨으면 해서
starting to
열심히
compare
운동하고
you
있다.
and Clid,
이런 얘기는 다
you
루머인
know?
거죠?
to make a
네,
big
rumor인
distinct because you guys
알겠습니다.
look so alike. Is that a rumor?
찾아보도록 하겠습니다.
That is a rumor.
자, 이제 다음 경기 기다리고 있죠. 클리드 선수 어떻게 준비하실지
How are you gonna
물어볼게요.
prepare your
저희가 첫 번째
upcoming
경기도
series?
했는데 저희 팀 자체의 개인적인 경기력도 별로 안 좋았기 때문에
Our
다음에
first
좀더
match,
보완해서
our
좀더
performance was not
팬분들이 보기에도
clean,
좀더
so we have to
안심할 수 있는
improve
경기를
that.
쌓아보도록 하겠습니다.
We want to come
네,
back with
알겠습니다. 더
very
좋아진 호흡 기대하겠고요.
believing
BDD
and also
선수는
trustworthy
이번 스프링 때
performance.
특별히 본인만의 목표가 있는지
And BDD,
물어볼까요?
what's your goal for the
일단은
spring split?
최근에 저 혼자서 되게 약간
Recently,
개인 실수가 많다고 생각을 해서
I made a lot of
그 부분 빨리
personal
보완하고
mistakes in
싶고
games, so
팀원들한테도
I want to
얘기해주고
work on
싶고
it,
그래가지고
and I want to be
좀
helpful
기복없는
for my
행동을
teammates.
이번 시즌 목표인 것
I want to be a
네, 아무래도
consistent
두
player.
분을 이 자리에
throughout the
함께
split.
모셔서 더 영광인데 이번 시즌 MVP 욕심 있으신지?
Does anyone want to be the
그런
player of the
거는
split?
뭐 없으면 거짓말이긴 한데
Well,
일단
it's gonna be a
그것보다
lie
일단
that
팀
I'm
승리
not
자체가 우선이기
interested
때문에
in it.
그쪽에
However,
좀더 마음이
team's
가지 않나.
victory is what is more valuable, so I'm not paying too much attention
오늘
to it.
클리드 선수, BDD 선수 너무너무 감사하고요. 젠지의 승리도
This will
축하드리면서
be
저희는
Clid,
다음에
BDD
만나
with
뵙도록 하겠습니다.
The first victory
고생하셨습니다.
for Gen.G, and I'm
감사합니다.
gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, G-Sun. Great to hear from both Clid and BDD, the main characters of this series indeed. Clid turning around what was a pretty uncomfortable first performance in game number 1, and then games 2 and 3 were as if nothing happened.